Hey, welcome in, everybody. Saturday Night Live with Traveling Check and Lady CZ. Hope everybody's having a good Saturday night. We just thought we'd do a quick recap of what our cruise was like on the Luminosa.
You seem a little distracted. What's
Yeah.
wrong?
Yeah. As most of you know, we went on a 31-day cruise. Well, on the Luminosa, which left out of Brisbane, went to Guam,
Yes.
Okinawa.
You said it right. I'm so proud.
What?
Brisbane.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I don't pronounce it quite right, but oh well. Yeah, it was Brisbane, Guam, Okinawa. There's 4 stops in Japan:
Hiroshima, Tokyo,
Hiroshima, Tokyo, Oturu, and
Amori. Amori Oturo.
Yeah.
Not that it matters, but
Not necessarily in that order. But and then from there, Oturu was the last stop in Japan, and then we went to Alaska, where we spent a week on the ocean. It took 7 freaking days to get from Japan to Alaska. Once we got to Alaska, went through Juneau, Ketchikan, Seward, not necessarily in that order. Hey, Down Under Cruisers, thank you for coming in.
Hi.
Glad to see you here.
You forgot the Hubbard Glacier.
And well, I was going to mention that.
Sorry. That's right. You went backwards.
Yeah. And then to Seattle, and that was where we got to finally come home.
Thank God.
We
My
had
own bed.
started off the trip real well with, and oh yeah, that's for with this not being with this being Saturday. I didn't think about that, but for anybody that may be a day ahead of us, happy Mother's Day. And yes, we are home finally. We got home on the 1st. We did have a little incident there in Brisbane because
I am.
hey Em, thanks for coming in. One of the Facebook groups decided to do some sort of a snack exchange, and they said, "Hey, bring stuff from what's common to your area."
Read that.
And what we'll do is that we'll do some snack exchange. So Lisa bought some food, different things, and on the customs form, it says that you have to declare. You have anything to declare, such as that listed off some items, and one of the things was dairy. And she asked me, she goes, "Hey, do you think I should claim this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it's dairy. It's they'll probably see that it's factory sealed, and there'll be no issue." So she put it on there. We're going through customs, and they're like, "So, what's this dairy stuff that you guys are saying that you have?" And I was like, "Oh, well, it's just some bacon. What was it? Bacon flavored?
It was
Cheddar cheese.
bacon cheddar cheese log. Brick.
Yeah. Come to find out, they're not allowing pork into Australia. So they confiscated all our cheese, and they said that it's a good thing that we had declared it on the form and told them about it, because had they found it, we would have, based on the amount that we were trying to, we weren't trying to smuggle it in, but because the amount that we had, it would have amounted to about a $3,200 fine had we not declared it. But since we told them about it, they were okay with it. They just confiscated it and threw it away. But
yeah, and it was almost $7 a brick, and I had 5 bricks of it because I was in a gifted or food exchange group of 6 people. So $30 literally in the trash can.
Yeah, I figured since it came from a factory and it was factory sealed and stuff like that, plus we were getting on the ship the next day.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm glad we went ahead and declared it. It really saved our pocketbook, to say the least. And then got to go to a hotel. The dive didn't work out. The people never got back with us, but we did go to the Lone Pine Sanctuary. Spent a few hours there. Had a lot of fun.
Got to see koalas and kangaroos. I was so excited.
If you ever do go to Brisbane and you want to go to the Lone Pine Sanctuary, when you buy your tickets, buy them a little early. If you want to hold the koala, make sure you buy your tickets early, because they only allow so many people per day to hold them. But the person that buys the ticket to hold them can actually invite like four or five people?
I think it was 3 with a total of 4.
Three with a total of 4 can be in the picture. They just don't get to hold them. Only the person that bought the ticket. We did that. Drove around a couple. Went on the Brisbane Ferris wheel.
Ferris wheel.
At night.
It's South. Was that South Beach? I feel like I'm talking about Florida.
It was across the river.
Well, yeah, but
that was pretty cool. It was kind of like the London Eye, just a smaller version of it. And if y'all know what the London Eye is, I mean, it's just like a huge Ferris wheel that you sit in this glass container and go around. Oh, how much are the tickets for Lone Pine? I forgot what they were.
35 is sticking in my head.
Yeah, because we had to convert from Australian money to. So I want to say 35 or 37. South Bank. Okay.
Okay. I don't know why I was thinking. Was it South Shore or whatever is Miami?
Yeah. But we had fun on that. Lisa won a little prize because she found all the Easter eggs.
Literally.
They had a little contest going that basically they would, since it was Easter weekend, if you found all the Easter eggs that they had hidden in the wheel, then they would give you some prizes. And apparently they had a trick to it. They had, hey, Suzanne, thank you for coming in. But on the Easter eggs, they had, I think they said, find all 5 Easter eggs. 6.
Oh, find all the Easter eggs.
Find all the Easter eggs, and they showed which ones they had posted, and there was like either 6 or 7. Lisa found all but 1, and when she told them that, and they said, "Well, which one didn't you find?" and she told them, and they said, "Good, you're not supposed to find that one." That's kind of how we tell if people actually found them or not. So she won herself a little
2 little chocolate Easter eggs.
Yep. And then the next day we got on the ship.
Yeah, we did a lot of walking there, and so we had a full day. So was it a full day or a day and a half?
Because about a day and a half, because we got there early in the morning, and spent the day, and then had a full day. Because the first day is when we did the Ferris wheel. And then the next day we did Lone Pine.
Okay. I just know I was really tired when we went to the Ferris wheel, so I couldn't remember if it was all on the same day or not.
Yeah, no.
It might have been if we were home.
Right. Yeah, that as long of a trip as it was, getting over there, we got there early, but we were still so tired. And I will have to admit, flying that first, well, no, we didn't we managed to get, I put in a bid for some first class tickets and happened to win for the 10-hour flight. So we were able to fly first class the first 10 hours of the flight from San Francisco to Fiji. And the nice thing about that is those seats in first class actually laid down into a bed. So we were able to have a little bit to eat and then laid down and slept pretty good. But still, just the jet lag and the time change was kind of a bit much to get used to in that short of a time. But when we went after that, we got on the ship and then spent 5 days going to Guam.
About 8.
No. Well, I thought it was 5. And
Let me look.
okay. Which was kind of cool. They had brought on a biologist, marine biologist.
We were both wrong. It's 6 days.
6 days. 6 days to
1,
Guam.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Okay.
And Guam was on day 8. So it was like the day we left, 6 days. So Guam made day 8. So
Okay.
from time we left, 7 days.
Okay. Either way, it was a long trip. It was a long trip.
It was a long trip.
But yeah, they had the marine biologist, and she was very, very informative. She would every morning. She had a session in the theater where she would talk about different marine life and stuff like that, the coral, just all sorts of stuff in that area and in the areas that we were fixing to go to. And it was real fascinating. The first couple of days we went, there wasn't a whole lot of people in the theater. But by day 4 or 5, if you showed up late, you had to sit in the nosebleed section because the bottom floor was jam-packed. And then they were having to fill the rafters because they were getting such a big turnout for her sessions. I mean, she had pictures. She had very informative, very energetic, very good at what she did. It was interesting. Then she got off in Arturo.
Yeah, the last Japanese stuff.
And they put on Emily. Then Emily, the naturalist, took her place, and she started talking about Alaska and the marine life we would see in Alaska, how to identify the different whales, that they were migrating, about the aurora borealis, whether we were going to be able to see it. And again, hers was the same way, but everybody was used to going to the other person's, that if you showed up just a few minutes late on the first day that she talked, it was balcony seats only. But
should we throw out their sites?
Yeah, if you have them.
Jessie the biologist, JESSITHE biologist, all one word, and that is on Instagram. And then Emily the naturalist is hers, and I think she's Instagram. It's EMILYTHENATURALIST. I think she's on Instagram and she's on Facebook. I'm following her on Facebook. I'm following Emily on Jessie. It was Jessica was her name, but her Instagram is Jessie, JESSI, the biologist. And she has some beautiful pictures of across Japan and stuff where she got to see more of the cherry blossoms than we did.
Yep.
And they were still pink when she saw them. So that was cool. So now we have to make a trip back so I can see them in full bloom. We just have to figure out when it is, because we apparently missed them because of the time we went and it had been warm in Japan. They had already bloomed early, and were turning white around the areas when we saw them.
Yep.
And still very pretty. So happy about that.
But we're kind of a little bit disappointed in the 5 days that we spent going from Brisbane to Guam was pretty good. I mean, we were surprised. Well,
6 days.
Okay. It seemed like 5 to me, maybe. But the Luminosa has made some improvements. It wasn't as leaky as the year before. I mean, it was literally, you go up on Lido deck and pretty much wherever there was the beginning of a hallway, they had towels and wet signs and
People mopping.
people mopping constantly. And I mean, because it was just water. Water was leaking from everywhere, it seemed like. This time, the only place that we saw them mopping up on Lido was them constantly trying to keep down the moisture off the floor from the humidity, which they can't.
There was a lot of humidity.
Yeah, it was real humid. They can't do anything about that. So I mean, that's not what the case was before. I mean, it was. I mean, they had towels trying to soak that stuff up. It was so bad. It was leaking so bad. The food was a little bit better. We weren't eating sandwiches the entire time. We ate in the dining room the majority of the time. The food was good. Whereas last time we ate in the dining room once or twice. It was on last year.
Not very much.
Last year we were on the 22-day cruise, and we didn't like the food in the main dining room, and we only ate there in the 22-day cruise. I think we ate twice.
Hi, Uncle Dave.
Hey, Uncle Dave. Thank you for coming in.
It's been a minute since we've been on, so
yeah. But this time they've changed, I guess, their menu and stuff. And the food was pretty good. We ate in the dining room almost every night.
I will say for those that no, we did not.
No.
I tried the Fireball and Sprite a lot. I had a lot of Fireball and Sprite. What was I going to say?
Had to do with the food. The main dining room.
Oh, yeah. Not that I'm fussing, but being an Alaskan cruise, there was a lot of seafood. Yeah, well, Japan too, because I'm sure they eat a lot of seafood there as well. Because I couldn't find any ramen we went to a shopping mall and I couldn't find any ramen that didn't have something in it that I wasn't sure about. So, if you do an Alaska cruise, just be prepared for that. I don't remember being so much last time, but this time it was like almost every dish was something with seafood, which was great for him. But I'm like, okay, I'll have the chicken again. I'll have the steak again. And the steak actually in the main dining room, we went to the steakhouse one night and the steak in the main dining room was actually better than, I mean, it wasn't as big, but it was cooked more to my liking. It didn't seem to have as much gristle or fat or something in it. So kudos to the main dining room. It was really good. Yeah. Can you pull that down just a little bit?
Yeah.
Thank you. Hi there. And the food, I mean, we have to keep in mind too that it's coming out of Brisbane. They don't have the spices and seasonings and all the preservatives and crap that we have over here. So it was Lido was bland, maybe a little more bland than we're used to.
Yeah.
And but the absolute best, my favorite part of cruising, especially any of them, is I wake up and have fruit for breakfast and I have fruit at lunch, and you can order their fruit plate at dinner. And you would think I fruited myself out, but no, I just bought a big old bag of oranges and already had one of those today. So I love having the fruit on the ship. That is my fave.
Yeah.
So ports. Guam.
Guam.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
Not Guam, but Carnival, disappointing. They did not have any excursions offered at all.
Yeah, we had to make our own.
Yeah, Tony did a dive.
Which sucked.
It was a 2-tank dive. He did one. And I'll let you talk about that. They dropped me off at a shopping mall and I found a Harley Davidson table. And, they were very limited on their sizes. We were trying to get shirts for his boss and, some tokens or whatever. And I asked him, "Oh, do you have this size with that?" No, we don't have that. We didn't. And so it was, they said they only had a couple of days notice. Now I know Carnival knew that they were going to have this cruise up there for quite a while. because we booked a long time ago. But they didn't tell anybody in Guam. And the guy that ran the Harley store, he said, well, had we known, we would have had some bikes over here, people could have rented for an hour, hour and a half and cruise the island. I was like, well, that'd be cool. I'd go riding with you. And he kind of looked at me and I said, well, I can't drive a motorcycle and my husband's diving. So, and he was like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah. It wasn't like weird. It was just kind of like, well, I wasn't going to drive people around, but.
Right.
And so then I went to another little table and they said the same thing, as they only had a couple of day notice, and they didn't really have a lot of stuff to sell because nobody knew we were coming in. I was like, well, that stinks. So your dive.
Well, I was looking forward to it, but
at least you can say you dove in Guam.
Yeah, I can actually say that I have dove in Guam. The person that I was in contact with asked me if I had a problem diving with somebody that had just gotten their certified. And I said, no. Because the way I look at it is if you're certified, you're certified. And it was supposed to be a 2-tank certified dive. I get there. There's 3 people. Come to find out, the person that's one of the people that are diving with us, he is certified, but he hasn't been diving in 20 years or something like that. They said it's been a long time since he's been in the water. So that right there, he was basically going to have to be refreshed on everything. The other 2 individuals had never been diving before. Never even had equipment on, didn't know anything. So that ended up turning into him having to constantly be with them instead of a guide leading you around to the best parts of the reef or the best parts of the area. We were stuck trying to take care of the 2 people that didn't know what was going on. And then come to find out, he said it was a shore dive. And I figured, okay, cool. We'll go out, go to a reef or, something nice. Well, we're sitting there getting in the water and come to find out he's right next to a jet ski place. So they basically destroyed that whole area. There was nothing there to see. And then the tank that he gave me, the regulator, I couldn't turn my head left because the hose was so short on my primary air source that I couldn't turn my head left. If I tried to turn my head to the left, it pulled the regulator out of my mouth. And when I asked him about it, he said, oh, well, this thing swivel, the regulator swivels in the back. And, it's just not swiveling right now because it's out of water. Once you get in the water, it'll swivel. Yeah, no, it didn't.
Shouldn't it swivel? If it's going to swivel, shouldn't it swivel all the time?
If you've got a short hose, it doesn't matter how much it swivels. It's going to be a short hose.
Well, right, but
and then
swivels in the water, but not out.
We do have a secondary air source that in the event that something happens to this regulator or your buddy needs air, you can pull it out and give it to your buddy. I figured I'll use that. Yeah, no, that wasn't happening either because the regulator wasn't very well maintained. It was hard to breathe out of. And then the mouthpiece that was on there was for a kid. So I couldn't keep it. It was too hard to keep it in my mouth. So after we got done with the first dive, I said, that's it, I'm done. And went on back to the ship. Because I was just tired. I was frustrated. About the only thing that we saw on that dive was some sea cucumbers. And that was pretty much about it. So
that sucks.
Yeah. But hey, I dove in Guam.
That's right. And I found out after I got off of the bus at the shopping mall, I could have caught another bus and gone to a beach. But I'm in jeans or whatever and didn't dress for the beach. So I just hung out at the mall for a little bit and went back to the ship. Yeah, it was kind of sad. So, but it was all right. I wasn't at work, so that's
yeah. Yeah, thanks, Em. I almost took my gear with me, but I was like, I'm not gonna track this stuff around with me all the way around, all that way just
All the way
for
around the
one.
world.
Yeah, basically, just for 2 dives. So I took my mask and some diving boots.
And your gloves.
And my gloves.
Glad you had those.
Yeah.
I will.
But yeah,
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for coming in.
I bet next time if we do the reverse, you'll take your stuff with you, won't you?
I will take my regulator, yes. And
Okay.
mask.
So then it took, let me look, 2 days, fun day at sea, and then we arrived in Naha. Were we done in Guam?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, that was not bad.
I was surprised that when we were leaving or when we were coming in, they had several different boats out there spraying water. Kind of like a welcome wagon.
Was that in Guam?
Yeah, they had all the boats spraying water.
That was cool. That was very cool.
I don't know where I'm not sure what kind of boats they were, but they had water spouts going off and stuff like that.
It's almost like a fireboat.
Yeah, welcoming us. And so Guam was.
They were very welcoming.
Very.
It was very well.
Are they the ones that had
pretty.
the arch?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was.
Yeah, when you got off the ship, the one drawback to Guam was that we left Brisbane, and when we got to Guam, you are now entering the U.S. Therefore, you have to go through U.S. customs.
Well, we had to go through customs in Brisbane. You forgot that one.
But
you talked about it in my cheese story.
When we got off the boat and ship and got headed to our excursions, they had a group of people out there and that were holding. I
don't remember what it was. I'm trying to find it here.
They were kind of like making the arch,
like an arch of steel, but it wasn't steel that they had. They didn't have swords
for you to walk through. They were very welcoming. So the port Guam was great. It's just that we wish Carnival had planned a little bit better to where they had some excursions. And VentureCast, thank you. Welcome in. Welcome to our Saturday Night Live. And we are glad to be back.
And Sean, you'll appreciate this. I picked up some Tim Tams. Lots of Tim Tams.
To replace the cheese that got confiscated.
Well, no, them people didn't get my Tim Tams. I brought them things home. Shared them with the kids.
Right.
Just happened to see them. Here's my little, I don't know if you can see it or not, my 2 little eggs that I won on the Ferris wheel. I'm trying to find the thingies to see what it was, see if that was Guam. I'm pretty sure it was. But.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about it, regardless of what we say about the cruise. If we give the impression that we weren't happy with it or whatever, we had fun, which was the main thing. We were tired.
We were tired.
And I honestly wouldn't mind doing it again. Maybe doing the return trip, doing the other direction.
He kissed the fish. If you haven't seen that video, he got too close and kissed the fish.
Right. But Okinawa, Naha, that's.
Those look like bamboo sticks.
Yeah, but that's Guam.
So this was kind of cool. I don't know if you can see it again. Let me get a little closer. So they made this little archway as we crossed through. So it was really cool. And then they had ladies standing on the side and they would drape beads or necklace. It wasn't beads. It was seashells.
Seashells.
Necklaces that they'd made out of seashells. That was really cool. So I brought those home.
Then after, we left Guam, went to Naha. Naha turned out to be.
You were a little emo on me with that.
Yeah, I'll admit I ended up being
You so smart. It was Guam.
Being a little bit emotional about being back. I'm not really sure why, but I was.
Because it's fam.
Well, it does have a lot of meaning. That's basically where I grew up that's where I spent my childhood from basically 7 years old to 13.
Ooh, can't see that one. That's the boat with the spraying water.
And not only that, that was also the last time basically Naha, or not Naha, but Kadena or Okinawa was the last time that my family was actually a whole family. My brother Frankie left a year before my dad got transferred back to the States. He joined the service and left. And so he was gone for a year. Once we got back to the U.S., my brother David, who was the second oldest, joined the Navy. So he left shortly after that. My sister, so basically Okinawa was the last time that we were all together as a family. Even at family reunions and stuff like that, there was always one person missing. So, and
At least
one person missing. So Okinawa, it kind of holds a special meaning for me, and that's why I got a little emotional. But it was a good place. I kind of did surprise the tour guide. We were on the excursion, and I was telling Lisa about some structures that you could see in the hillside. And I said, those are actually graves. They're family graves. And if I'm not mistaken, they bury the entire family. And they're huge structures. And it's big enough to where they bury the entire family in the grave. Every time somebody passes away, they open the door and, however they bury them, they put them in there to where the entire family ends up being in there. And when we got to a stopping point on the excursion, I asked the tour guide, I said, are these special graves? Are they just for royalty or what? And she said, no, these are just basically private graves, and they're for anybody that can afford them. I mean, if your family can afford them, then they make them, or that's how they do it. And I said, and they bury the entire family in there, correct? And she just kind of stood back and gave me this look. Well, how'd you know that? And I just kind of explained to her that I grew up there as a kid, and she thought that was pretty cool that I remembered all that. And I was just trying to confirm that I was remembering it correctly. And come to find out I was. We did get to, if you've ever seen Hacksaw Ridge, we got to go into that tunnel system that you see in the movie. The room where the general commits harikari, we got to see that room. I mean, it was
hello, controversial cruising.
Oh, hey, yeah. Welcome in. And Andrea, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, so Andrea, they threw away my cheese. Not cool.
Yeah. The tunnel system was cool. So Okinawa was a good place. We found that we did happen to find out that you can't retire. Okinawa is a really cheap place to live. Actually, the yen is about 60. It's
60 cents on a dollar.
65 cents to USD to 100 yen. And so it was pretty cheap. A lot of the stuff was cheap over there compared to what it is here. The tunnel system was very interesting. The history that she gave us about Okinawa was pretty interesting. Somebody said something, because when they found out how cheap it was there, they said something about retiring to it. And she said, no, you can't do that. That in Okinawa, you have to, if you come to the island, you have to work. You have to be productive. You can't just come over there and retire and
live off this country.
Do nothing. You have to actually work. You have to contribute to the economy somehow. And then we also found out that starting in the 4th grade, they teach their students how to read and write 4 different languages, because you have Japanese, Chinese, and then there's, I think, Mandarin, maybe one of them. And there's another form of language that's real similar to theirs. So when they're teaching their kids how to read and write Japanese, they're having to learn how to write and read 4 different characters at the same time. So they're basically learning how to read and write 4 different languages, starting in the 4th grade. It was very clean over there. If you ever go to Okinawa or Japan, be prepared to carry whatever trash you have with you, because they have no trash cans on the street. And it is very, I mean, we didn't see any trash floating around, blowing around, or anything like that. We didn't see any graffiti. We really didn't see any police running around. About the only time we saw police was when we happened to walk by a police station. It was, but what got me was, as busy as that place was, whether it was Okinawa or Japan, as busy as that place was, there was no trash on the street that we could see, but yet no trash cans.
Yeah, that was cool. That
no
was very
graffiti.
awesome.
No, I mean, it didn't even look dirty. I mean, it looked like.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing any like sand or dirt on the streets, any leaves that have blown down.
Nope.
I mean, it was very, very clean. It was just amazing.
Yeah. What?
I'm looking at Dory over there. I'm trying to figure out what she's doing.
Oh.
He's got some video that we took in the tunnel. It was 150 steps down. And I thought, oh, good God. But it wasn't that bad. And it was damp in there. The walls and the floor was a little damp. It was really cold. I mean, they had everything roped off, obviously, where you couldn't go into a lot of the rooms. They still had the table set up where the general in his little area, where there was like the table and chairs, I'm sure, where they did layouts, maps and stuff or whatever. But it was very odd feeling being in there, but it was very neat to look around. So he'll have that video up sometime if he hadn't already. I literally came back. We got to bed about 3:30 in the morning, and I got up and was at work at 7 o'clock that same night. And I've either been at work or asleep ever since. I don't know what he's done or hasn't
done. Not much,
done,
because I've been working, trying to catch up too.
Yeah, it's crazy. Can I jump back to Guam for just a minute? If you guys go to Guam, there's this neat little place. It's called Fizz and Company. Probably can't see it, but it's a soda shop.
You'll have to hold it up closer, because you're getting the reflection off the light.
Oh, there we go. Maybe I'm covering you. Sorry. Anyway, it's a soda fountain, and it's kind of like a throwback to the 50s, and their food was really good. I showed Tony a picture of a hot dog I got, and it had sour cream and salsa on it, and he thought it was weird, or pico, but it was probably one of the best hamburgers I've eaten. It was like the Nathan's yes, Nathan's hot dogs. It was really good. So, and it was he's moved to Guam from the States and opened this up. It's actually the same guy who was running the Harley Davidson shop. So I was talking to him, and then he was like, oh, well, if you go around there, if you want lunch or whatever, he said, we have a soda fountain over there. And it was really cool looking inside there, but it was good food. So I live in Guam.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, sorry to jump back to that. I'm all over of course it's typical for one of our lives. I'm all over the place.
Right. That's fine.
Okay. So Okinawa.
Well, we were pretty much done with that. They do have a memorial over there, a peace memorial. No, was that Okinawa? No, we didn't go to. Yeah, that was part of the tour. The memorial, the huge place.
Yeah. Okay.
I
gotta check my pictures because there was so much. I forget what was where.
I did a couple of lives, I did a live from there to kind of show what it was. But man, that place was huge. The pictures didn't do it justice. And again, very neat, very clean, no graffiti, no trash, no.
Very somber, very pretty, very well kept.
Yes.
Maintained. It was very, very nice.
And they have like miniature walls with all the names of everybody that died from the Battle of Okinawa, or from that particular war. And they said they're still adding names to it, because they found a bunch of bodies, and they're still, I guess there's, she made it sound like they're still finding bodies or remains. And then they try to do DNA samples and stuff like that. And then once they identify who they are, they add the name to the wall. And they said they add names to the walls annually, and it's like 126,000.
I don't remember. It was a lot.
It was like 100, somewhere between 120 and 126,000 names that they've got so far on all these different walls that they have throughout the place. The museum portion of it that they have is huge. I mean, we were standing way back, and I took a picture of the museum, and that thing takes up I've got my phone tilted sideways, and we're back up on a mountain, and I'm zoomed out almost all the way. And that building is so big, it takes up almost my entire phone. That thing is so big.
Yeah, we were out walking around in the memorial park itself and really didn't have time. We went in, spent maybe 10 minutes in the museum, and it was getting time to go. I mean, it was just a beautiful place. If you've ever been to New York and seen all of the names on the walls there, that it's over by the Statue of Liberty, then it's kind of the same concept, but the names are smaller. The walls are kind of V-shaped, and then they were front
like a zigzag,
and they were front and back, and it was really pretty granite that they. I mean, it was very nice.
Seems like we were kind of neighbors for a little while when you guys were in Alaska. Okay, cool. Maybe you guys got to see the Northern Lights because we didn't. They weren't.
Either that or we were sleeping because we were still on Australia time.
And because. And let's see, one of the things I forgot to mention after we left Guam, when we got to Okinawa, because we were entering Japan, we had to go through Japan Customs and Immigrations. So that was the one thing that kind of, I'll admit, bit about this excursion cruise, is because of the different countries. I mean, we left Brisbane, went to Guam, had to go through U.S. Customs, went to Okinawa, had to go through Japanese Customs and Immigrations. On the last stop of Japan, we had to do an exit immigration, so we had to go through the Japanese immigrations again. Then when we got to Alaska, we had to go through U.S. Customs and Immigrations. So we spent a lot of time doing that. But and then from Okinawa to Japan. Oh, that's part of the memorial.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll get a video up on that. Other than the live, because the live really doesn't do it justice. We've got some really good pictures. That are coming up. There's just a lot to process and stuff. I do have.
Got to get back on American sleep schedule because I'm working nights, so it's working for me. I'm good until about 5:30 in the morning, and then it's like I hit a brick wall. It's like, okay, I'm tired.
Right. Let's see.
So next was Hiroshima. So it was a sea day, and then it was Hiroshima.
Yep. Went on the excursion there. Went to the Atomic Dome. That's a pretty good place. I've got a video of
Peace Memorial Park, Atomic Dome, and Museum.
Right. Yeah. And that's in Hiroshima. And in fact, if I can do this, I was going to do a quick, let's see, share screen. Let me see if I can do this. I was going to do a quick share. Whoops.
Don't end the stream.
No, I'm not. I got this. I'm going to try to share just a portion of this video that I've done to see, but I've got to figure out how to share it. I got to stop it first. It started playing. This is the one I'm making about the atomic dome that I'm working on. It's kind of like a little sneak peek. If I can. Hope you guys can see that. And I'm just going to play a portion of it, not the whole thing, but whoops.
Maybe.
What happened? There we go.
It's there.
Here we go. And this is basically about the atomic bomb and it dropping. And this is all presentations from that we picked up from the atomic dome excursion.
It just makes your heart sink thinking about all this.
And it's just a sneak peek. It's still a work in progress, but I hope to have it up in the next few days.
It just really, I mean, to walk around there and see the dome. And I mean, we had, we had attack here in Oklahoma City 20 something years ago.
Mhm.
And to walk around that building, it kind of reminded me of how we felt there. And we've been to New York City and walked around there after everything that happened on 9/11. And so to walk around there in Hiroshima and to look at what's left of the dome that was destroyed pretty much in that attack, it just really pulls at your heartstring. And then to walk around and see the people there and to think the tour guides are from that location telling a bunch of Americans, and other countries too, look at this is what happened. This is, talking about the kids and how, in pre-K and kindergarten and all that, they're teaching them and, to basically, one of the pictures we had was a kid's uniform that was, I guess a military uniform. And to think that they were, just in both of the locations, it's just heart wrenching to think of the history. Of course, he's telling our daughter about it today. She's a history teacher. And so she was just kind of, wow, talking about it and everything and some of the stuff that we learned. And it's
a shame it had to happen, but hopefully it'll never have to happen again.
Yeah. So it was very enlightening, I guess you could say.
Yes.
And again, beautiful memorial park. It wasn't huge like it was in Okinawa, but beautiful memorial park they had set up and everything there. And they had a reflection pool like we have here in New York. And it was really cool to see all that. But at the same time, like you said, hope nothing ever has to happen like that again. Okay.
And then we went to Mori and then Oturo. Mori,
Tokyo.
Oh yeah,
Tokyo's next.
Tokyo, we had some pier runners.
Yeah, we later found out that they were crew members.
Yeah, like 40 minutes late. But Tokyo was pretty good. We just basically rode the subway system and tram system there, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because we
took a train, a tram, a subway,
taxi, Uber, or an Uber.
Everything but a plane. Because we came in by ship. Well, we came in by ship, so we took the boat. But yeah, me and Google, and my fault. I'll when it's my fault, I'll say it's my fault. We were looking for a Harley Davidson store, and so I put in Harley, and it was I was like, I don't know if this is right, and so we walked an hour and a half.
Yep.
In the sun, felt like across Tokyo. We get over, and it's a business park. So it was like the main office. I walk in there, and I had Google Translate. So I said what we're looking for, and the guy was like, "No." And so he would say something. Hold on, and so I'd reverse it to Japanese to English, and he would he was like looking at it. And he was talking into it. It was kind of fun. And as an older man that was a security guard, and he'd kind of talk into my phone. He'd look at it, and he'd talk a little bit more. And they told us what floor it was on, and I was like, "So can we go shopping?" And he was like, looked at me like, "No, it's an office." So totally my bad. So we go out. He gets an Uber, and
because we ain't walking the other direction another hour and a half.
Yeah, what was it? 20-minute drive.
Yeah.
To get to the Harley shop, and it was in a not so better part of town. So he drops us off, and then we're like, "How do we go back to the subway? Can we get there fast?"
That's the one thing we did learn. Her and I hadn't really been on a subway system before. Well, I mean, we did that one place.
We did in New York. That was Grand Central. That was a blast.
But we had to learn how to use we had to figure out their system because it's been.
First off, we had to translate everything.
Yeah, and then we had to figure out how to transfer from the tram to the subway, from the subway, I think it was line E, and then come to find out we had to switch to the M line, and then anyway, it was definitely fun. It was definitely a learning experience. The one thing I did forget to mention in Okinawa was that was that Okinawa where we had,
I don't know.
The guy at the information desk was having a hard time with the English, which is fine. But he was trying to explain to us how to get to.
No, it wasn't. It was Tokyo.
That was Tokyo.
It was Tokyo.
Because we had the excursion in. Okay. But I thought it was really funny. He sat there and he explained in great detail how to go from the tram to the subway and then after everything was all said and done, he handed us this pamphlet and he said, "For when you guys get lost, this is give this to the taxi driver and he'll bring you back here." And I didn't really pick up on it at first. We're like, "Okay, well, thank you very much." And we're walking out of the building. Then I stopped and I was like, "Did you hear what that guy said?" And Lisa's like, "No, what do you mean?" He said, "When you get lost."
Not if.
Not if, but when. He said he has a lot of confidence in us, don't he? For when you get lost. But we didn't get lost. We just went to the wrong building. We found our way to the wrong building.
Hey, we followed the directions very well to where we thought we were going. Like I said, it was my fault again.
And we were able to get back.
But look at all the things that we saw along the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we had a blast because, like I said, it was a learning experience. We got to do a lot of stuff we didn't plan on doing. Got to see a lot of things that we hadn't planned on seeing.
And we weren't quite there. And I was like, I'm looking at it. It said, this about the same time if you go this way or this way. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go this way. And he's like, "Where are you going?" Because he's hot and tired at this point. And I was like, "I'm gonna go through here. I'm gonna go through this alley." And it was I said, "I'm gonna go over here and take a picture." And was it a statue?
Yeah.
And so I get over there, I'm taking a picture of the statue, and then there's an archway.
That was more, wasn't it?
No.
Okay.
No, that was a different one because this was before we got to there. Because you were ready to be done at that point. We hadn't even got to where the wrong place at that point. So we go through there. I said, well, I'm gonna go this way. And he's like, whatever. So we go through under the little archway thing, and there's a shrine back up in there. And that was,
Hey, Jennifer, thanks for coming in.
so that was our first shrine. And we kind of walked around back in there, and it was really cool. And so it was like you come in this way through the little alleyway so it's to the side. So the shrine is to the left of you. And then you turn and you go out the right. And when we went out the right, that was the same street that we were on initially. So we get back on there and back out in the sun for another 30 something minutes. And so that was fun.
Yeah.
It was very pretty. Okay. So
we managed to get back and then
found the subway when we left the Harley shop.
Yeah.
And then we got on
we had to
the
reverse
M line.
everything.
Well, we took a different route because we were going to town Tokyo. No, to what was it? Ginza Street.
Ginza Street.
They were like, oh, you got to go to Ginza. Okay, so we went to Ginza Street. So we didn't actually go to downtown Tokyo, but oh my God, so many people. And I felt like I was in New York for a little bit, honestly, because there were so many people and, high rises. Exactly. Not a single piece of trash. It was amazing.
No trash cans either. Or graffiti.
We were looking for something. I was like, I'm kind of getting hungry. So we went over and I was going to buy me something to eat. And I looked and it was a lottery store. Yeah. Use your Google Translate, folks. Okay. So I was like, well, that didn't work. So we walked around Ginza Street and that was the high end shopping, like that you did a live from there. So that was the Versace and the,
the high dollar
stores. All the high dollar stores that I don't shop at. So I can't remember their names.
But a lot of people
and all that.
But a lot of people from the ship were going there because the stuff, when you convert, even though it may have been several 100,000 yen or whatever, it was a lot cheaper than they could buy it here in the U.S. And so they were buying stuff there. There were some people that were buying luggage and brought it back on the ship, and it was high dollar luggage, and they said it was only like $20 or $30 for, US dollar wise, for the luggage. And so that's why they bought it.
Yeah, it was a hard shell 360 rotation wheels and stuff. It was really cool. I wish I'd have found some of those because we bought some in Alaska and it cost us $100, but that's a whole nother story. So yeah, Tokyo. It
was fun.
We walked until our feet killed us, and we found a little shop, and they had a sandwich I really wanted to try, but when we got into the little shop, we were looking around because I was still hungry. I hadn't eaten still at this point. And it was like a cucumber and something sandwich. I mean, it sounded really good, really cool, refreshing kind of thing. And we were going to have to go up a flight of stairs. And I was like, nope. So we ended up, is that where you got the cheese Danish and I forget what I got. I don't remember. So we split them and it was like, all right. And I looked at him and said, you ready? He goes, yeah, I'm ready. So we went back, got back on the subway and went back to the ship.
Yep.
So it was really cool. I found the ticket for the all day pass. Mm-hmm. I got it in some of the luggage stuff I was unpacking for the kids stuff. So, so Tokyo was fun.
Yep.
Definitely can't do it in a day. They didn't have very many excursions there. So some of the stuff I looked at, I'm like, no. Yeah,
it was Tokyo on your own, which basically you hop on a bus and then they drop you off. And it was the equivalent to $79 or $80 per person. I was just like, well, we
got on the subway, saw a lot of cool stuff and didn't cost us anywhere near that.
Yeah.
And we traveled like the locals, we right in the mix of them. And
yeah. It was definitely, I liked it.
It was very cool.
And then.
Now, I will say one gripe I had about Carnival was, and I loved Jessie's shows. Like I said, I'm following her because she's awesome. But they should have had something. Last year when we went to Hawaii, they had Hawaiian ladies on the ship, and they were showing us how to make leis, how to make bracelets, how to do the hula, things that pertain to Hawaii. they had a lady on that was like kind of like a shopping show, where to go, where to buy, where, I mean, I sat in on a couple of them and I was just like, it's not, no. So they should have had something to, to teach you, since you're going somewhere with foreign language, and had that many C days. They could have said, this is how you say please and thank you, and don't go into the little archway without, this is culture, kind of let us know, because when I heard that, something was being done and I didn't do it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just insulted their culture, and then I felt really bad, and then I was like, oh my gosh, and I know that they're going to go, oh, dang, American didn't know what they're supposed to do, and I get that, but at the same time, it would have been great to have had some informative type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Love Jessica's shows, don't get me wrong, but the other stuff, I think it could have been a little more informative, and that would have been really cool. So it's not really a gripe. It's just kind of like, hey, Carnival, do better next time.
Yeah, I mean, because it'd be nice to be able to, if somebody helps you out, tell them thank you in their language, or just little things. They're not going to be able to teach you the whole entire language by the time you get there, and there's some, because some of the stuff you don't want to say wrong, because one sounds one way and one means something totally different.
Yeah.
But stuff like thank you, good morning, good afternoon, just little things,
So instead we said good morning, hi, smiled a lot, but
and it's been so long since I've been there. I know some of the phrases, but I can't remember which ones mean what. So I just,
and you don't want to say something that was totally
good morning
wrong
instead of thank you, or thank you instead of,
Why do I have? Okay, so you had the cheese bread, and I still don't know what mine was, because I didn't put it on there. Dadgummit.
And then next one was
Maury.
Yeah.
So we didn't have an excursion there.
No.
What did we do?
We walked around, did sightseeing on our own again.
Oh, jump back to Hiroshima. That was the first of the cherry blossoms, because I don't remember seeing any really in Okinawa. They had already,
because
the blooms had already fallen there.
Yeah.
And then in Tokyo, we passed a whole bunch of them. Blooms were falling on our head as we were walking. So, and they had turned white. So, did get to see them in both of those. Like I said, Jessie, the biologist on Instagram, she's got a really great photo of a bunch of pink cherry blossoms that sad I didn't get to see. But so Amori, what I can't. Ooh, I'm so tired. I don't remember what we did. I'm trying to look through my stuff here as I'm. Oh, that's where we did the shrine, wasn't it?
I thought so.
Or was that a Toro? I think it was a Toro, because you did a live before we got back on the ship.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, this is where we went shopping and bought all the little snacks and stuff, because one of our daughters she likes the snacks from the different countries, so she kind of sample it and stuff. So we kind of walked around. Was that it? Let's say I walked around a small town, and is that where the shrine was? So we came back and we caught a shrine on the way back to the ship. And that was really pretty, and that's where we did the video of the fish.
Yeah.
So we'd be sitting there on the ship or something after we got back on, and he hadn't worked on any of the videos or anything, and we'd get on an elevator. We'd be sitting there at dinner or whatever, and I'd just go, because that's what they did. They would just look up, and it just cracks me up. But that was at the shrine. That was really cool. They had a little deal where you could buy some fish food, I guess. Yeah. And so, we did that. It was the Uto Genja Shrine in Amori. It was very, very pretty.
Yeah, it was. Em's asking if Japan had those packed vehicles and buses. All the vehicles that we saw were small. I mean, that's
really kind of cool looking.
Yeah. There was, I think that's what you're asking, if they were compact but Did we see any buses? I don't remember.
I mean, we were on buses in
Yeah,
Okinawa
that's
and
true.
Hiroshima.
But I mean, as far as just like driving around.
Sad day. They took us by was it a shrine? Or no, it was a castle.
Castle.
It was a castle, and we were sitting on the opposite side because, girl picked the wrong side of the bus. And it was like they just kind of drove around, stopped, and said, here it is. And if you were on the left side behind the driver, then you could see it. If you were on the right side, you didn't get to see it. But I didn't really see a whole lot. I mean, they had like the city buses.
Yeah.
But I didn't see a whole bunch of them because I know some people came into the Peace Park, the Hiroshima, the atomic bomb dome.
Yeah.
They came into on that on a bus, but I don't think it was an excursion. They were just kind of on their own and came in with them. But compact, I didn't see compact buses. And then they were the kind of a box looking car, and it was like every color.
No. Now, as far as the city buses, I mean, no, we didn't really see anything that was just jam packed full of people. I mean, even on the subway, I mean, when we rode the subway, it wasn't jam packed. I mean,
Not at all.
There was.
I mean, there was a couple of stops. It got kind of full, but it was just people going to work.
Yeah.
That's how we knew it was a work day, Monday through Friday, because a lot of people were on the. But no, but those little cars were kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, there was one.
They looked roomy.
Yeah, they didn't look roomy from the outside, but when we got in them, it was kind of. I had plenty of leg room. I'm 6'3".
Well,
and I was sitting in the back. But I mean, it was.
And that would be harder.
You didn't see any of the big SUVs driving around and stuff like that, right? Like you do here. It was.
I didn't remember any trucks. Do you?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing them. Just they were all smaller vehicles.
Well, I mean, any trucks at all.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, it was cool, but there was a lot of motorcycles.
Mm-hmm. That there was.
Motorcycles and scooters and the like. Okay, so wrap up on Tokyo. Anything else about Tokyo?
No.
It was really busy. Oh, I did see on the map there was a Godzilla head on top of a building.
Oh yeah.
And we were so flustered when we came out of not the Harley shop that we didn't make it over to the building. So it was supposed to be on the top of a building, like a tall building.
Yeah, tall building.
I can't think of my words. And every hour it would spew steam and roar. And I was like, I want to see this. And we missed it. So, because that was going to definitely be a short.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a little sad that I missed it.
Have we not gone to the office building?
Had we not gone to the office building, we wouldn't have known about it because it was over about 3 or 4 blocks from where we were, but we were just so flustered at that point, and feet hurt so bad. So that was cool. I mean, definitely Tokyo in a day is not enough.
No.
So if you go, be sure and look for the Godzilla head. That would have been too cool.
It'd be kind of nice, like they canceled that one port and rearranged it. It would have been nice if they could have spent an extra day at one of the bigger ports to give us more time to actually do stuff.
Well, they canceled the one where Sapporo or whatever, and it was and they moved us to Tokyo. So yeah, I mean, and go ahead. You had a thought?
No.
There were people who got off in Hiroshima and did not get back on until Otoro. So they spent, instead of Hiroshima C Day, Tokyo C Day, they spent the whole time in Tokyo. And apparently you can do that. Just like last year, people got off in Fiji and got back on in Tahiti or vice versa, whatever it was. But they get on the bullet train and just across the country and get up there and get back on the ship on the other end. So they got to spend a lot more time in Japan in the different areas doing stuff. And so you just basically let the ship know, hey, I won't be back. tonight. We'll be back on board here, and if we weren't back on board there, I don't know what kind of problem it would have caused, but it was kind of cool, So I asked him if he wanted to spend a couple of days in Okinawa, and I got to look, and the flights from Okinawa to Hiroshima were like $3,000 a person, and I was like, just kidding, love you, just kidding.
Right.
No, so we did not do that. But the plan is to go back and try it again at some point after we retire, because he can't get the leave to be gone that long.
I don't earn enough, and I can't carry over enough to build it up.
Okay.
And then Otoro.
Oh yeah, I jumped back to Tokyo. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tokyo Sea Day, Amori, left Amori, went to Otoro the next day. What do we do there? We're both like,
I'm thinking that's the one we just walked around and we saw that shrine.
Well, that was Amori. I just looked at that.
But it was,
I don't have a whole lot of pictures from there either.
Yeah, I think we just walked around on that one.
Oh, that was the one that had the little park there by the wall. You did a live from there because there's that big anchor, and then
we went to the fish market and walked around downtown. Saw that's where the fish and stuff were. Mm-hmm.
Well, I have it as Amori.
Okay.
On my thingy.
They kind of ran together.
It could have been. I don't know. But yeah, the fish market, that was cool. It made him go in there. It smelled like fish.
Yeah. You get down there, and I mean, it was. You're welcome.
It was exactly what you would think. People were set up on like little tables, and they had just fish laying out and all kinds of different types of fish. Fish stuff. They had noodles to put with your fish when you bought your fish and noodles, and it was kind of cool. We didn't spend a whole lot of time in there because it was smelly.
Okay, well, thanks for dropping by, and I appreciate you coming in and watching us live.
I understand. I have to be at work at 7 on Monday, so I get that. Take care.
All right, good night.
Bye.
Yeah, it was a nice little park. It looks like it's in progress of being updated, and they're maybe doing some more construction and stuff with it, and they're going to expand it. And it looks like it'll be a pretty good park right there on the port. But we found in all the Japanese ports, they were very receptive of us. They welcomed the ship in. They usually had some sort of a gang of people singing songs, waving flags and stuff like, something as we were coming in, as well as they would do some stuff as we were leaving to basically show their appreciation for us being there. And it was kind of,
they would holler out goodbye, or whatever. We think, since we weren't told what what phrases, we think it was goodbye, but that was really cool. I mean, they, like you said, they were very appreciative that we were there. Yeah. And it was clean. Oh my gosh, it was so clean. I couldn't get over how clean it was.
Yeah. And then we went from Otoro to Seward, which was we spent 7 days, another 7 days on the sea.
We did the Glacier Hubbard before we went to Seward.
Oh, that's right. We went into Juneau first.
No, Seward was our first port, and then Juneau, and then Ketchikan.
But we went to the Glacier. You're getting me confused.
I'm so confused. I thought we did the Hubbard Glacier first, and then we went to...
No, we had to go into U.S. Customs.
We crossed the international date line, and that's when you kiss the fish.
Right.
Okay, Seward. My bad. Shush. So Otoro, it was fun day at sea, fun day at sea, fun day at sea. Cross the international date line, repeat the day, fun day at sea, and then Seward day 25.
Yeah, so that was fun. And then because we were entering the U.S. again,
guess what?
More U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, or whatever. But yeah, that was kind of an experience because, man, it got cold up there, and it didn't get as cold as it would have because they had to do a meta flight, and they were supposed to go on the north side of the Aleutian Islands. and go into the Barren Sea.
I was so nervous because I've watched Deadliest Catch. I didn't want to go in the Bering Sea.
But apparently they were going to have to do a meta flight, and so they tried to do a direct line and get there as soon as they could. And so he stayed on the south side of the Aleutian Islands.
And it was storming.
Yeah, plus there was a storm.
Deadliest Catch.
But the thing that got us was that we woke up one morning, and I mean, it was freaking freezing. In fact, during the day, somebody mentioned that it was snowing outside.
That was cool.
And I said, here we are in the middle of the ocean, and it's so cold that it's snowing.
It was so pretty.
But it was pretty, yeah. And that's where Emily, the naturalist, came on.
In Otoro.
And she had some great lectures and stuff like that. In fact, I did an interview with her that I'm trying to put together now. The problem I'm having is that we picked a spot that should have been nice and quiet for the interview. But just before we started, the cruise director showed up, and that's where they literally held their book club meeting on the other side of the seat.
Yeah.
Emily tried to go into a couple of the different clubs to see if maybe we could go in there to do the interview, and they were having meetings. So she tried to do she went upstairs. I mean, this was kind of cool. She was doing, hey, well, let me go check here to see if we can do it there. Let me go check here. Let me go check here. She went and checked the library and came back and said, no, there's people in the library. So we went ahead and did the interview there. So there's going to be a lot of background noise. My daughter's supposed to be checking with one of the reporters to see if there is a way to remove some of that background noise of the laughing and the hooping and hollering and stuff like that while I'm trying to interview her.
And that was from a book club. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Something you would not think would be loud. So if anybody's thinking about going on the Luminosa for an Alaskan cruise in the next, while they're here, they'll go back in September, October. The library is fully stocked. It was kind of barren when we got on, but lots of people brought books. Somebody knew and posted that. So a lot of people brought books, and they filled up that library. So there's games and books and all kinds of stuff in that library to do now. So it's really cool.
Yeah. And then
I'm not sure how they did a book club with that many people. Because a book club, aren't you supposed to all read the same book and discuss it? I
don't know, but they were having too much fun to be a book club.
Yeah.
But the drawback, this is one of the things that we wish Carnival would change, was that they had Emily's shows in the morning, like around 9, sometimes 10 o'clock. Usually it was more like 9 o'clock. Well, once we left Arturo, every night before you went to bed, you were supposed to set your clock ahead 1 hour. And so you figure we're on the sea 7 days, so every night we were setting the clock ahead an hour. Well, her show is at 9 o'clock in the morning, so the next day it's like 8 o'clock.
Then the next day,
it's like at 7 o'clock. The next day it's at 6 o'clock. The next day it's at 5 o'clock. And I wish they would take into consideration this cruise is probably an older crowd. Not to say that youngsters don't go on it, because we did have some kids and stuff, but we did have some younger couples, but us
not very many
senior citizens, or whatever you want to call us, have a tendency not to adjust to the time changes as easily as the younger crowd. So why not have her shows? Because they were getting such a great response. I mean, literally the theater was packed. And they were having to put people on this. I mean, we were having to sit on in the nosebleed section because there were so many people showing up. Why not schedule those for later in the afternoon? So when you have to do those time changes, there's a good chance that more people can show up. Or we had asked her during the interview, mentioned something about maybe record, or no, she brought up, or did she bring that up? Anyway, something came up about recording maybe recording her lectures and then putting them on the channel for people to be able to see later on. And she said apparently the Luminosa doesn't know how to do that yet, because that ship belonged to somebody else, that they're not real sure with the wiring. They're not able to do where they do the diamond shows and stuff like that, and they pipe them into the room so everybody can see the diamond show. They supposedly haven't figured out how to do that yet. Something to do with the wiring. But why not the good stuff like that? Why not put it in the afternoon? Because I understand that what they're trying to do is they're trying to get you set up for the big time change. Instead of just one day, oh, hey, everybody set your clocks 7 hours ahead. I understand that. But at the same time, taking into consideration the older crowd may not be able to get up that early.
Or if they do, they fall asleep in the middle of it.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Hopefully I was not snoring, but I woke up and I'm like,
I think I nodded off once or twice too.
And I think we were on the third row that day that I did that. So, yeah. I'm surprised she didn't go, no, we're not going to talk to you. You were sleeping in my show.
Right.
But she was a very nice young lady, 23 years old, and she was working on her bachelor's degree for... She told us. I don't think it was marine biology.
It's in the video.
It's in the video. So when you watch the video,
once I get it done, because I've got to figure out how to get some of that background noise removed.
We did ask her what is a naturalist, and she explains that as well. And she was having a little trouble talking because she had some
allergies.
Well, she said she may end up having to have her tonsils out because every time she gets on the ship that she has allergies real bad, and that I guess that's what they told her in medical is she might have to have her tonsils out because of all that. Been there.
Yeah, this is her second or third year working with Carnival, and she's basically gets on. She was working the Sunshine, I think, if I remember correctly, but this is the second year where I guess she gets on in Japan. And stays on the Luminosa. No, because the Luminosa didn't go to Japan last year, did it? No, because they went to Hawaii.
They went to Hawaii, so maybe she got on and.
But she
got on in Hawaii and went to.
She may have because we weren't on there.
Yeah.
But she stays on the Luminosa during the entire Alaska season, and that's to help. And she holds the seminars. To help people see, understand the whales they're seeing, that the whales are migrating, how to maybe even identify different whales that you may see. The lectures are very, very informative. That we were really impressed with those. We just kind of wish Carnival had, for that one trek, maybe put them later in the afternoon.
Yeah, after I had my coffee, I would have been fine. My coffee and my puzzle. That was our daily thing. Go get coffee and a puzzle.
Yeah.
And then go sit in there and enjoy that. That was very good.
Is that which? Let's see, after customs, it was
Seward. We didn't. That was the Anchorage area, but it was an hour and a half to Anchorage.
Yeah.
So we didn't really do anything there, did we?
No.
We just kind of walked around and looked at the area and.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, and nothing's happening right now. I think my brain's still asleep.
Yeah, I know. In one of the ports, you did the whale watching, and then I did the plane.
That was in Juneau.
I got to do the plane where they showed 5 different glaciers, and I've got to try to figure out that maybe somebody can email me or private message me, tell me what I'm doing wrong. But sometimes I can sit there and video something. Stop it, video something else, stop it, video something else, download it to my computer. And one file will download fine. The next file will show that it won't show the icon. And then when I click on it, it says, hey, it can't read this file because it's an incompatible format. and the
Exact same
next
thing you
video
just
will
did.
be fine. And I don't understand why why would a download from the same device taken, I mean, I'm literally just hitting the camera button, record, stop, but one file will be fine. The next one will be an incompatible format. The next one will be fine. And so I've lost several pieces of videos because it's an incompatible format. And so I don't understand how all that works. And that has happened with just using the phone directly. I've got a gimbal where you can use the gimbal to record. It's happened on that, as well as sometimes I just use the gimbal to point and click. It records it on the phone. It doesn't record it on the gimbal or save it to the gimbal. But, I'm getting these files in incompatible format. And so I end up losing them. And I just don't understand what the problem is.
Really quick, if you're still here with us, if you would hit that like button, we appreciate it.
Yeah, the like button, and bless you.
Oh, excuse me. So I don't have it on here when we went to the Hubbard Glacier. Oh, there it is. It was after we left Seward before Juneau.
Mm-hmm.
So Juneau whale watching. Sasha, the whale, is back in Alaska. She has AK on her her back fin thingy.
Tail fin.
Yeah, that's not what they call it, but yeah. So she has a little design and stuff on the back of it, and there's a couple of websites you can go to and look at it. So you send them a picture of a whale if you have the whale tail. You send them that, and they can tell you if the whale has been identified. If it has a name, they'll tell you their history and stuff. And if they don't recognize it, then one of the sites, it's kind of like pay for information or whatever, and they might let you be involved in naming it. But our boat captain for that, so I wore boots, yeah, because it's Alaska, right? And I ended up going on an hour-long jungle hike. It wasn't really jungle. It was the Tongass National Forest. Went through that. It was really cool. And so he said, set your phone at these settings and blah, blah, blah. Well, I had 6,500 pictures already on my phone. So I set to a higher setting on my phone. And I did like 2 videos and 6 pictures. And it said that it was full. And I about lost my reality right there. Lost my Jesus. So I had to go through and delete some old stuff, and we're walking, and they're like, watch out for bears because they're starting to come out of hibernation. And I'm like, oh, good grief. And I'm not going to get a picture of a bear because my phone's full. So I was freaking out about that. So anyway, got that taken care of, got some video, got on the boat captain. So I think it was Jim was our bus driver. He moved to Alaska from New York. And then, what was his name? David? I think it was David. He was from Peru, and he's the one that told us all about the camera and stuff and how to get your best photos. And then I think it was Michael, I can't remember, that was the boat captain, and he was former Coast Guard, transferred up there, got tired of sitting in a cubicle instead of on a boat. So he retired or finished his term or whatever with the Coast Guard, and then now he's just out doing excursions and absolutely loving it. And so the whales would, if you watch them, normally they'll come along, they'll kind of come up a little bit and they'll go back down, they'll come up a little bit and go back down, and then they'll come up and just dive like that and flip their tail fin up when they get ready to make that dive. Because what they're doing, what they told me in Mexico was they're getting that last big gulp of air before they go down, and they'll be down for about 20 minutes before they come back up. Well, they were saying about 10 up in Alaska. I don't know if it's water temperature difference. I don't know. I would think a breath of air is the same, but they were saying about 10 or 15 minutes or so. And so, they were just kind of surfacing like this, and then they go down. They never made that big, I don't want to say it was a jump.
Breach.
But, the big breach where they'd come up and then flip that tail as they went down. But they were, kind of surfacing down. And this one, she kind of flipped her tail up right before, she was surfacing, and then just kind of like and down. And when they did, the boat captain came out of his chair. Sasha, welcome home, Sasha. It was just like he was so happy. So the story about Sasha, she's apparently a very famous whale because whales will have cubs. No, calves every 3 years. Cubs, calves, whatever. Yeah. So they would have a baby every 3 years. So they'd go to California and come back with a calf. 3 years later, they go to California, come back with a calf, et cetera, so forth. So she did this 3 years, 3 years, 3 years, went down, came back the next year with a calf, went down, came back the next year with a calf, went down, came back, went down 2 years later, came back with a calf. And they were like, she is solely repopulating the whale population. So she's actually made it in magazines and, science magazines and stuff that, she didn't follow the normal 3-year gestational, have a baby, wait 2 more years before she had another baby. And it was just like bam, bam, and bam. And so they have her in there for like 6 or 7 babies in a few year span. And that was kind of her
claim to fame.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he was super excited, came up out of his chair, was just super happy to see that Sasha was back. So anyway, on her tail fin, it's black, and then it has like kind of a white, it had kind of a rim of black, and then it had white design. And in that white design, if you look really close on the left fin thingy over here, right before where it comes like this, I don't know what you call it. Sorry. Just before it comes in right here, in this area right here, it has the letters AK. And they were like, she's our very own whale. See the initials for Alaska right there. So that was how they knew right off that it was Sasha, because she had that, and he was super excited to see her. So it was, I really enjoyed, that's second or third time I've done a whale excursion. It was a little colder this time because the last times it was in Mexico, but it was cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So then we had a little bit of shop time, not very much. Well, I didn't have any shopping time. I shopped a little bit before, took everything with me, and then it was on the boat with me and everything. And then I had to just literally, our excursion ended at 3:30, and we were supposed to be on the ship by 3:30. So they dropped us off, and we all kind of hurried.
Yeah.
One lady said, I'm not getting on the ship until they call my name. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be a pier runner. So I said, I'm going to be a pier crawler because my feet are going to be hurting after walking through that. But the Tonga Forest was beautiful. And they were talking about how the glaciers and stuff, how much they've changed and melted and stuff over the years. And that was kind of sad. So some of my pictures and videos that I took in the Tonga Forest, there was a picture of it, lots of ice and a bunch of ice and then some ice. And it was kind of had a story to it. I didn't take time to read it because, I didn't have time, but it was kind of sad, but it was very, very pretty. And the waterfalls, God, they were so beautiful. Mm-hmm. And the water, you could just see where the currents were and how the water changed. And after I think it was David, after he told how to change the settings and stuff on my phone, I actually got a beautiful sunset through a dirty window on Lido. And it was just the prettiest golden sunset over the glaciers and stuff. It was absolutely beautiful. So for Facebook friends, you may see those. I haven't put up any pictures hardly except for my eagles, which were the next one.
Yeah.
And that was Ketchikan, which is my favorite Alaskan port. We've been there. We've been to Alaska twice, been to Juneau twice, but Ketchikan, that was the setting of The Proposal, the movie with Sandra Bullock, and somebody throw out his name for me there. He was black and red suit.
Oh,
Ryan Reynolds. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, that was the setting for that, but it's a really cute little town. Now we'll say, okay, we're going to jump back to Seward really quick.
Okay.
Yeah. They were like, it's 15-minute walk into town. Okay, cool. We can do that. Again, I'm in boots. Oh, yeah. So we walked and we walked and we walked. I think it took 15 minutes to get across the parking lot, didn't it? Maybe that's just because I'm old. But we get out of the parking lot, we cross the street, and we're looking over. I'm kind of like leaning on the bridge going, okay, let my feet rest a minute. And you look down, there was 2 big old liquor bottles about yay big and a milk jug, milk carton, whatever it was, a jug, and some other trash all down in a little stream there. I was like, oh.
We're back in the U.S.
After being in Japan and it being so pretty, I was like, oh, well, we're back in the U.S. So all this trash. But the view around Seward was absolutely beautiful.
That was.
And they lie. It was not a 15-minute walk to the aquarium. We went to the aquarium, took a bunch of really cool pictures. And did you put the short up about the jellyfish?
I think that's one of the files I lost.
I still have it. I can send it to you again. So it's really cool jellyfish. You can see the underside of it. Yeah, it was. What did we walk, an hour?
Yeah,
and it was uphill all the way. I know people say that, but it really was. Yeah, sad day about the trash. Okay, so back to Ketchikan. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Ketchikan is where we took the excursion and went to a lodge. I don't know what that's other than a lodge, but they did stop and feed a couple of eagles. You got some really good shots of some bald eagles picking fish out of the water.
Somebody said a National Geographic quality, and I was like, oh, I don't know about that, but they were dang good.
They were dang good, but I don't think they're that good. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, they were really good. The lodge, we did a quick tour through the.
Welcome back, Jen.
Hey, Jen. Get the dramatic princess in. Okay.
Not sure which one you're talking about, but we'll go with that. Welcome back.
And I forgot to mention this earlier. If anybody wants in, just send me a private message and I can send you the link. I mean, we've been going for a while, but
yeah, I don't know how long we've been on
hit
here.
the like button. For some reason my stuff's not working. I've got to go in there and check the settings again to see what is up, why it's not posting the little reminders here and there. But
I don't know. I got them.
The bald eagle was pretty cool. We went to the lodge. And they walked us through this forest. We had to go up this big old long ramp, and I mean it was steep. And they said it's normally not that, or, depending on what time of day that you get there, it depends on how steep that ramp is, because apparently the tide changes so much that the dock that they let us off on will actually raise 6 feet. And so that's why the ramp at that time, I guess the tide was out or whatever. So the ramp was real low and it was a real steep climb. And they said, no, the way they've got things set up, because of the tide change, it'll change 6 feet. And
that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Because it was built kind of up on a hill and everything, which makes sense that, as the tide comes up, it's not going to flood it out. But there was like a brick wall and everything right there as the water comes up. It was nice.
And one of the things I didn't really think about until just now, the dock where they tied us up to, as you're getting off the boat and you're walking down, you'll see these like little flaps in the dock. One of them was down, the other 2 were up, and somebody happened to ask what those were for, or what, is that what people swim off of or something like that? And the guy was like, no, he says, that's what the planes pull up on.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. Well, I guess when the planes land in the water, they can go up to the dock, and that wooden flap is down, and the planes will just pull up on it, and then it's hydraulic, and it'll lift the plane up out of the water, and the people can get off, and it keeps the plane from having to be tied up and stuff like that. When the plane gets ready to leave, they'll just lower it back down, and the plane goes back off into the water.
That's cool. I must have been over staring at the starfish.
It was cool. I mean, yeah, it was some really, really good information.
The starfish were climbing the pole.
Yeah.
Well, they were climbing. They were up on the pole from when the water was up, and then when the water receded, they were still on the pole.
Yeah.
So they were about this big, ish, maybe. Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah, because of the tide change, they'll manage to climb up the pole, and then the tide will go out, and they'll be left hanging there out of the water.
He flicked a couple back in the water,
Yeah.
but not all of them, and I felt bad. I didn't want them to like die, dry out and stuff. No,
I don't want to leave side. No, no.
cancel,
No.
cancel. What was that?
I don't know.
Check your phone. Yeah, there was something. It wasn't a sea cucumber. It was some kind of something else. No. What was it? Some kind of snake or worm or something?
I don't know. I don't remember.
We were asking the guy. He was the captain of the boat thingy we were on, and I had a phone call, so I had to step off the phone call and step off and take the phone call. And I missed what he said. I caught what he said, but I don't remember what he said. So that'll be in my pictures too if I ever get
Right.
Oh, woe is me. I really didn't take a lot of pictures at all the places, but I mean, I did. I took quite a few. So, yeah, Catch a Can, absolutely beautiful. Love that. And then, so when we were done with you, oh, you didn't tell me what we did at the lodge.
Walked through first.
No, it was well, yeah, but we were like 30 minutes in and 30 minutes out, not like an out. Well, no, it wasn't that long. It was what, 15?
Yeah, it was probably 30 minutes there and back.
So it was really pretty. And he was talking about, he really didn't, I think he was kind of new because he didn't really talk a whole lot about it. But what he did tell me, I had already heard the day before in Juneau with the guy from Peru, David.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I suck at names. I think it was David. So I kind of knew some of the stuff already that he was talking, or had recently heard what he said about some of that stuff. But it was really cool walking through there and seeing all the stuff. And it was I want to say a cypress tree. It was not a cypress tree. It was a tree, but it was
Cedar?
huge. I don't remember. I took a picture of it too. It was huge, and it was like one of the tallest trees in Alaska or something like that.
Biggest round.
Biggest around. So in the very beginning, the octopus that I'm standing by, that was on that little thingy. Jen, I got the name of the one in Juneau, the company, and I have a business card of the company. So if you want to try to hook up a private tour or something with them, with all of your peoples, I have that information somewhere in the luggage. Oh, but so what we did at the lodge, since he didn't really talk about it there, was the
we had the crab
boil? Seafood boil?
Seafood
I
boil.
don't know what you call it.
Yeah, it had crab, mussels, clams,
Shrimp.
sausage, shrimp, corn, and they just bring out the big old potatoes. Yeah, and then dump it out on the table, and you just kind of.
Some lady left her phone laying
Free-for-all.
on the table. When he went over it to dump, it dropped that fish juice all over her phone. I was like, oh my gosh. I reached underneath him, grabbed it, and was trying to wipe it off. And she came back, and I was like, you got fish juice on here. Sorry.
Well, and then after that, we spent a little time on the dock, and I didn't see he said that the tide, that you'd be able to tell the difference in the ramp just by the time we got ready to leave.
It was not. Instead of being like this, it was like this.
Yeah, I didn't see a big difference.
Is that the one I walked down backwards?
Yep.
I mean, because it was too much. It was too much. If you're ever on a big ramp like that, then yeah, walk down backwards. It was so much easier. It was like climbing, but in reverse. Mm-hmm. It was climbing in reverse. But it's very pretty.
Yes, it was. And then after that, we got back and did a little bit of shopping and
got back
on the boat or the ship.
And then we had another fun day at sea.
Yeah. And then we arrived in Seattle, which marked the end of our cruise.
Yep. Now, last year, going into Seattle because of COVID. They had, I said the C word, because of that stuff. They had stopped the port transfers, and they had it this year. So you were able to, you know how on the ship you tag your luggage and send it down, and they'll take it out and have it waiting for you in the place.
Yeah.
What's the place?
The port.
Okay. So in the building, the port building thingy. So this, we tagged it. We did what, did some paperwork. And when they picked it up from our cabins,
that's the last we saw of it.
Until we got to Oklahoma City. They transferred it to, so if you get to an airport more than 4 hours before your flight, they won't let you check in. You have to sit around with all your luggage. That happened to us at Long Beach. So we sat with our luggage and everything. Well, they scooped it up instead of dropping it in the port. They took it straight to the airport for us, and it was free. Let me re-say, it was free. So they picked it up. It was already tagged, had your flight label thingy that goes on it, had that on there. And he has trackers in the luggage. So we were sitting at the airport, and he goes, well, it's here. We were sure about all but one of them, because we, again, in Alaska, had to buy 2 new bags because your girl did some shopping. Not really a whole lot, but
yeah,
it was enough that it wasn't going to fit because I packed too tight going in. But so they transferred all of our stuff, and yeah, we got home. Oh my God. We had 2 duffel bags on wheels, 2 large suitcases, a medium suitcase, a carry-on suitcase that they were like, well, you can't take 2 carry-on, 2 rolling suitcases. And I had my backpack, and we had, oh my God, it looked like we'd been gone a month.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we were. So yeah. And something else we found out. Shh, don't tell anybody. When they said you can't take that carry-on because, oh my gosh, because you have, basically, we already had too many carry-ons. They checked it at the gate. I mean, they literally were getting on the plane this way, and it was sitting at a door here, and they took it down the stairs and put it under the belly of the plane. We didn't get charged for it.
Yeah, because that would have
been our fifth
one. Yeah.
and we didn't get charged for it. So they just kind of scooped it up. It transferred, and everything made it back here safe, sound, fragile. Make sure you don't have any batteries. And if you do, get those out beforehand.
Yeah.
Because I think I might have had a battery under the plane. But we're here, so it worked. It was okay.
And one of the things that might be a good idea too, especially on some trips, is, I mean, these worked out great for us because we were able to track our luggage. Since we have the Apple phone, we got the Apple AirTags, and what you do is they're just like a little thing about the size of a quarter,
$50 maybe.
Yeah, somewhere between $50 and a quarter.
It was a 50-cent yen.
You pair it with your phone and chunk it in whatever piece of luggage that you want to track, and at any time you can pull it up and see where it's at. And that's where I was able to tell that our luggage. Sorry. That's how I was able to tell where our luggage was I pulled up the phone, and I was like, yeah, it shows it's right out here outside the plane. So it made it. When we got to the airport, I was able to pull up and go, yeah, they're all here. They're here in the airport. I couldn't tell where in the airport, and I couldn't tell what was cool is at one point, once the plane pulled in and they start, how you can see the luggage being brought out to the plane. I pulled it up and you could see that it was moving closer to where we were. And I was like, well, it's on there. I mean, it should be making it to the plane because it shows to be down there on that cart.
Was it like $80, $89 or something like that for 4 of them?
Yeah, for a set of 4.
Yeah.
And they have a watch battery in there. And so, I mean, it gives you a way to track your luggage, especially, like if you, we had never done that port stuff. So, we were nervous, is it going to make it? Our flight's not till uber late. Are they going to check our luggage? What are they going to? We're just kind of paranoid.
Yeah, we got off the ship at what, 8:30. Luggage
Yeah.
was already gone, and so we would have had to sit at the airport until noon, 1 o'clock with our luggage. Well,
Yeah.
probably 11 with our luggage, and it was already checked and gone, and we didn't have to worry. But we had our carry-ons, and that was it. So it was nice to walk in, and we were like,
Yeah.
feel naked here because I don't have all my luggage. So
Yeah, and they said the letter that we got said that there's no weight limit.
yes, no overage.
No over, yeah,
Fees.
no overage fees. So if you packed your bag and it was over 60 pounds or 50 pounds,
50.
according to that letter, they made it sound like there was no fee if it weighed too much.
So we would not have had to buy 2 extra luggages.
Well, we
and
had
catch a
to because
can.
I didn't think it wasn't necessarily the amount of weight; it was they wouldn't fit.
Hey, I packed a whole, I know you've heard this before, I packed a whole patio furniture set in a Toyota.
Okay,
I could have made it fit.
I'm gonna let
Tetris.
her out before she starts barking.
Okay. I'm a Tetris queen. Yeah. So anyway, Seattle airport, they are doing that, and that's really cool. So, Jan, next year, that's an option for y'all. So you don't have to carry all the big suitcases and everything on the way back. Anything is breakable or medication or jewelry, something like that, pack it in your carry-on, and everything else, put it in there and let them take it to the port for you, and you don't even have to worry about it. It was so nice. You know, we were nervous, and stopped and asked a lady, said, "Hey, so we did this, so do we need to worry about it?" She goes, "Nope, they should be there, but double check with," and she told us whoever down the way. And so we saw her, but she didn't have a clipboard. And I was like, I think we're supposed to ask you about our luggage. And she was like, oh, yeah. She turns around. There's a little table there. Got all the paperwork. Oh, yep. And she pulled up her names and went, yep, you're good. I can't reach it. So, yeah, all of our stuff was there. And it was awesome. We didn't have to worry about it and didn't have to carry it. Didn't have to, stand there with it, waiting to get on the bus. It was awesome. So definitely try that. On the way back, Jen. What else did we do? That was quick. What else did we do?
Bought a $20 hamburger.
Oh yeah, in the airport, split it. It was good though.
Yeah, it was good, but it was $20.
Yeah.
But it did come with fries, which surprised me. I thought that was just going to be for the hamburger.
Yeah, that's true. That was in the Seattle airport coming home, but it was good. It was very good. Catch a can. Well, when I had to come back, we did some in that seafood thing. They asked if there was any allergies, and I said, well, I'm allergic to shrimp. So our whole table, they didn't put the shrimp in there, but what the lady told me was that they were going to cook me a pot with sausage in it. And I was like, okay, that'd be fine. Just a small pot. Well, they left the shrimp out, put it on a paper plate to the side, and cooked all the other seafood in the pot. And that was all. They made me 3 chicken skewers. So it was like, if you're going to eat the corn or the potatoes, they were cooked with all the other seafood that I didn't know if I was allergic to. I know I was allergic to shrimp, so I told her that, but I didn't know about, I call it snot in the shell. What were those? Mussels?
The mussels and the clams.
Yeah. So I was like, and he did have me try the crab leg.
Yep.
No. Yeah.
Crab meat.
Okay. So I tried that. I wasn't real impressed with it. It wasn't bad. But, eating the stuff that had all cooked together, my lips right here in the middle were kind of getting a little numb, but it wasn't anything bad. So some guy offered me, and he said, I would give you an EpiPen, but I didn't bring it out here. And I was like, no, it's fine. I should be okay. Should be. Because I've never had that severe of a reaction, but I was a little sad that it was all cooked together. But it was okay. It was my first crab boil, whatever you want to call it. So I ate an ear corn, ate some potatoes. The sausage was very spicy, but it was good.
Yeah.
All in all, it was good. I told Tony he was going to have to eat my share of it. And did you get full?
I had enough. No, I didn't get full, but I ate enough.
Yeah, it was I was a little nervous because I hadn't done it before, but it was good. And yeah, those pictures of that eagle, I can't. So if you have an iPhone, if you this is something we learned last year in the class, while you're doing a video, it shows you have a little white circle in the corner next to the record button. You can take pictures while you're recording. And so that's what I was doing with the eagles is I was videoing the eagles flying and scooping up the fish and all that. And I was like, snap, 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 taking pictures throughout. And then I went in, I pulled a Princess Catherine thing, went into the pictures and zoomed in and screenshotted. And so I have close-ups of the eagle. He's like, he's flying like directly towards us and he's flying past us. And, you know, it was clear enough that you could see him scooping the fish out of the water and the water drops, you know, dropping behind him, and really cool. And for those that are Facebook friends with me, I posted them and it was like, y'all don't have a clue what this means to me. I was super excited to be able to see the eagles. So that right there absolutely made the trip for me, seeing those. And I was afraid because on the whale watching in Juneau, they were fixing to show us an eagle that was up in the tree, and it was a distance from us. And somebody's like, "Oh my God!" You know, they panicked. You know, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, somebody fell overboard." You know, so the captain turned around, "What's up?" And this whale, it breached. Well, I wouldn't say breached, but it came out of the water pretty good, and he was like right beside our ship, or boat. So he was like here. Our boat was like this, and he was coming up right here, right behind us. And so the captain kind of spun the boat around to get the engine away from it and then shut it off. And he said one of their guidelines is they cannot impede the whale's natural habitat, movement, whatever, at all. And so if they see one out on these whale watching trips and they see one out and it's swimming over here like this, they can't cut the boat in front of them to like cut them off to see it. You have to, you know, I mean, you can go beside it, you can go behind it or whatever, but you cannot impede its movement. And so I don't think that one was Sasha, but it was very close to the boat, and people were just screaming, "Oh my God," all happy and everything because it was so close, and it was huge. And it was like the boat that we were on, a full grown whale was probably twice the size of the boat we were on. So he could have just ate us.
Wow, that would have been nice.
Been no big deal. I didn't get a picture of that because I was facing forward, and by the time I turned around, I didn't get the camera up in time to capture it. So, but it was, I mean, it's kind of like the salsa classes. You can't do just one.
Right.
I absolutely love the whale watching tours. Saw a lot more in Mexico, but I mean, just seeing the captain be so happy seeing Sasha, that just made that little trip right there too, you know, so it was kind of cool. But all in all, like I said, we might have been a little grumpy gills, and that was because we were tired and the changing of the times and everything. But
yeah, because you got to take into account we like going from here to Brisbane, we lost
a day and a half.
Being that much time on the plane is bad enough, but then you lose hours, so you're trying to acclimate to that, and then about the time you're not necessarily acclimated to it, but you're kind of getting used to it. Oh, you got to set your clock an hour ahead every night for the next 7 nights.
Well, we had already set it 3 times before that.
Something like that. It was, yeah. I mean, it was.
So Guam and Okinawa was on the same time as Brisbane, if I remember.
Ship time, anyway.
And then, true. And then Tokyo was an hour ahead, and then wasn't Amori? Did we have to change between that?
No, we only I was thinking we only changed once, maybe twice, but Okinawa and Japan were the same.
I thought we changed somewhere between there and
may have been between
Hiroshima. Because Hiroshima was on the backside, and then we had to come around to the I guess the east side. It was on the west side, and then Tokyo was on the east side, and the island kind of sits catawampus. And I thought we changed there, and then changed along the route. It was a lot. I know that.
Yeah, I would. I mean, and the ship, the Luminosa has made a lot of improvements from last year, and
Yeah.
I'm sure they will continue. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but
But you're going to complain.
no, it's not really a complaint. It's more of a I don't understand type deal. Last year they had problems with their ice machines because their ice machines couldn't keep up. Well, then why don't you change out the ice machines to a bit to because these look like they're very old ice machines,
Well, it was a Costa
right? But
ship
they've had
before
how
that.
many years to upgrade it? I mean, and it's an ice machine.
It was.
It's not like it's a huge purchase.
They had just bought it last year before we got on it because we were like the third sailing
Okay.
that was Carnival. But still, it's been 15 months, 14, 15 months. So, an old girl in the lobby, her butt cheek is just worn, plunged, smooth. For those that don't know, there is a naked lady laying in the lobby. It's a big iron. Is she iron?
Brass.
Okay. And people go by and rub her naked little butt cheek for luck.
She's trying to get rubber boob.
I mean, I rubbed her foot and I did okay.
Yeah, but you could see where people had rubbed her foot and rubbed her butt and her face or
rubbing her toes
or whatever, and she's like, "Hey, rubber boob, rubber boob."
It's not like you see the whole thing. It's just just side boob. There we go. It's late. We can talk about side boob.
Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah, it was, and I actually had fun in the casino.
you did well.
I'm not a big spender. I'm always losing. I think last year I was lucky to break 3,000 points after 22 days. This one here, I actually went over 10
points, not 1,000.
10,000. Yeah, I went over 10,000
points, not dollars.
Right. It's like the second or third night I hit a bonus round where I hit the major jackpot, which was 700 and something, and which put me at
it was 8.
It may have been 8. Anyway, by the time the bonus round finished, it was like $1,075, and so I basically played on that the rest of the cruise. And then the night before we left, or a couple of nights before we finished, I hit the major bonus round that got me the major. And all in all, I think I left the casino there with about somewhere between $300 and $500 ahead. Which, I mean, that's pretty good for me. I mean, I actually had fun for a change. I usually get all grumpy and stuff because I walk in there and I lose my money. I mean,
$20 and he's out.
No, I don't mind losing it. I would like to have fun losing it. When it's gone in 15 minutes, that's to me not fun. But when you can sit there and play for several hours and then maybe lose it, okay.
All in all, it was a good trip.
Yeah.
It was good to get away. It was relaxing. And like I said, if we seemed grumpy on some of the lives, it was because we were exhausted. We'd lost so much sleep and time, and we were dead. We were the Walking Dead, no pun intended. But it was good. I'd do it again, not anytime soon. And I really don't like that many sea days. I know that they talk about the ships to nowhere, and they get out there and something be canceled or whatever. And I just, after being on this and people talk about living on a ship, I'm just like, oh, and somebody said that somebody said or something. It was like $1,600 a month, and they had to change ships every 2 weeks. I never really understood that. And we met the sweetest little Korean couple, the Kims, that were, we were at a 4-top table, but the other 2 people didn't show up, and we were next to a 2-top. So basically 4-seater and 2-seater. And they were at the 2-seater. And so we just kind of, hello, how are you? And then we got to talking to the point that we had our picture made with them and the head waitress in our section before we left. And I mean, they were really sweet people. And actually, Miss Kim, I have her phone number, and she's texted me, we've texted back and forth 2 or 3 times. And They're Korean, and she was 67, and he was like 74 or something like. And they did not look it at all. They looked amazing. They're retired, and I forget what they said he did with computers that he did. I can't remember. And then she was like I want to say financial, it wasn't accountant, yeah. And they retired, and they cruise all the time. They're on another cruise right now out of New York. I think they're on the Venezia. I'm so jealous. I want to go on the Venezia. But they were the sweetest little couple, and we'd run into them, and she'd ask every night, "How'd y'all do today in the casino?" "Well, we haven't been yet." "Okay, I'll be looking for you." And he'd see them come in, and they'd go over on the side and sit there and play together, and it was just the cutest little couple.
Yeah.
And that was really sad. We don't friend well, apparently. On 31 days, they're the only friends that we made. Whoops. We can't keep to ourselves, but we get off the ship and we didn't come off sick either.
Social butterflies like a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, we didn't come off sick either, like a lot of people do. So
true too.
So there's that plus side of being antisocial, I guess.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind doing it again, but like you said, not like next week or anything like that. But I mean,
I really do not want so many sea days. If they could do something where there was not so many sea days,
well, or have like that, like last year they had the lady that did the Apple phone. I mean, they did have the seminars and stuff like that, but it would have been nice to have something in the afternoon as well, because it was like, unless you wanted to do trivia.
There was so much trivia. Oh my God.
Trivia, and there was just like something else. It was like all the freaking time, and if you didn't like doing that, then you had nothing to do after that seminar in the morning.
Yeah, it was kind of sad that they didn't have, and somebody said it was the cruise director, that was his responsibility to book all that stuff. I don't know. I really liked our cruise director. I just lost his name. I was thinking about him and forgot.
Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler. Yeah. Really nice guy, very personable. He'd come up and, it was like he had seen us around and it was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And it was almost like, he knew us. And I've cruised with Mike a couple of times, and he's very personable, but Tyler, it was like you were friends. He'd come up and greet you like you were a friend. And it was good. I just like he said, I just do wish there was a little more activities, and I get that it's maybe hard to book stuff, but I do wish there was more than trivia.
Yeah.
Jessie, Jessi, the biologist at Instagram or on Instagram, and Emily, the naturalist, on Facebook. And I think she was probably on Instagram too. Sydney Cartoonist.
Oh yeah.
The Sydney Cartoonist. No, it's just Sydney Cartoonist. He's on Facebook, Instagram, all the stuff. Really nice guy. We visited with him several occasions, and Tony did an interview with him, and it was kind of cool. He was able to extend. He was actually supposed to get off in Otoro, and he was able to extend all the way into Seattle.
Yeah.
And it was him and another guy that were doing caricatures in the morning.
And then they swapped out, and that's where he was supposed to get off, but he was able to, like Lisa said, extend his stay. And what he did was that he held classes,
and those were fun. He actually had us drawing.
Mm-hmm. Teaching you how to draw and stuff.
I was supposed to be drawing Einstein, and it looked more like Homer Simpson. But hey, I'm sure you could recognize it as Homer Simpson, yeah. Right? But Sydney Cartoonist on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, he was a lot of fun. Name escapes me. Brett Bauer.
Brett Bauer.
That's just, sorry, old age there. Really nice guy. He had some controversial cartoons. He kind of got in trouble for one of them that he did,
Yeah.
and it was they're not political. It was he. So those that heard us talk about porting out of Australia last year, there is a
Sewage plant.
Yeah.
Water treatment plant or sewage plant.
something, and it smelled ammonia.
It's
Smelled like sewer. It stunk. So last year he did it last year too, and so when he did our caricature this year, he was like, "Haven't I already drawn y'all?" We're like, last year." He goes, "Oh, okay." And I thought that was cool. 3,000 people on the ship.
It's been a year.
And there's 3,000 then. He's done this, probably been on doing some others locally and stuff. And he remembered us. Didn't remember our name, but he knew that he had drawn us. And totally forgot where I was going with that.
Well, the one that he drew
yeah.
about the port, it really didn't get him in trouble, but he did get catch some flack from it. He basically drew the port with the Carnival ship. Well,
a ship
that looks a lot like the Carnival ship. A couple of them.
No
in the port.
Yeah.
And everybody in the port's wearing gas masks. And it's because if you get into that port and on the catches where the wind's blowing just right, it stinks really bad.
And last year it was blowing just right. It was horrific.
And he said that he got some flack from that. He actually had people calling him and stuff like that, asking him, "Well, do I really need to wear a gas mask?" No, it was just a joke. It was meant as a joke.
Comedy, folks, comedy.
And so he
said
he ended up taking it down because of all the.
Now this year, it was fine.
Yeah.
Wind was blowing the other direction.
Yep.
But I think that was the main one he mentioned he got in trouble for.
Yeah.
And he actually worked for Scooby-Doo when Scrappy came on board.
Yeah, he's worked for Hanna-Barbera.
He apparently did not like Scrappy.
Yeah, he's drawn for Hanna-Barbera, Disney, several other places, and he's been working with Carnival for the last few years. Get on the ships and do the caricatures. I
think we showed ours on the live
mm-hmm.
After he did it. So we have this year's out of Japan, then we had last year's.
And the interview that I did with him, I showed in there. So
our caricature?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he does really cute work. Wish I could draw. And it not look like Homer Simpson when it's supposed to look like Einstein.
Right.
That was not good. I thought I did pretty good. He had a guy come up in one of his classes, he's having us draw all this stuff. And there was somebody that was always talking to him that was, trying to get hints and tips on how to do the drawing on an iPad. And, it didn't matter what you asked him about. He would sit there and explain it. And I actually ended up with some extra poster board, drawing deals because he just threw them on the table and packed his stuff and left when he was done. I was like, okay, thanks. So, but if you ask him a question, he would explain it and, show you how to do it and tell you how to do it, what materials you need to do it with. So that was really cool. He's, Brett Bauer, he's a really cool guy. I can't remember the other two that were on there that did stuff I went to one of the guys and two of the female that were on there, and I was done with those.
Yeah, I forgot what. He's got his own business, and he makes assignments for all the others that work with him.
Yeah, and they don't actually work for him. They're
independent.
Freelance, yeah.
Independent, freelance, whatever you want to call it. He just makes the assignments.
Says, hey, I have these openings. They take it, and it's cool that you can walk away from your job or whatever like that and go on a cruise for a month. But I'm sure he was working on the ship, if he had anything that he had to do. So it was, she's wanting more yummies. Yeah, I'm talking about you, don't you? Your ears popped that crazy dog. I was going to say something. I forgot. Because she's, being herself.
Yeah. Trying to keep her from barking, but she's.
But all in all, it was good, and
Yeah, it was.
finally getting acclimated back to being in the U.S. and not changing time every hour. Don't have any questions for us? I can ask you that. There's still 6 of you in here with us. Is there anything?
And if you haven't hit the like button, please. I still got to go into that setting, find out why it's not popping up like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Because there's a way you can drop your link and stuff too, but I'm not sure.
You need some Embarkation Nation assistance.
Yeah. I mean, it was working the last, when we're doing the lives in the past, it was working, but I just.
You took it to that other country and boom.
Yeah. I quit.
Oh, and here's another little hint. Don't take 2 laptops in one backpack.
Oh.
That was heavy. That was real heavy. And guess who carried them? Because I'm like, I got this. I got this.
It's not that I didn't try.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'd grab it and throw it over my back. And I got this. And I'd be pulling everything. And yeah, all the heavies and. Oh, ours wasn't working. I thought it said cuss something. What?
Ours wasn't. Okay. Well, then
maybe it's a YouTube thing or a whatever the thing is.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a good cruise. I like being back in Australia. It was good being back there. I like being able to go to that sanctuary. It was cool seeing all those animals.
Oh, the koalas were amazing.
Cool.
They could climb up to the top of the tree and just sit on one branch and cross their legs here like this and lean back on another one and just sit there and eat. I was like, that's the life right there.
Yeah, that was cool. The kangaroos were neat. Got to pet those.
What else? Was there an emu?
Yeah, there was a bunch of different things there. I mean, a lot of birds, a lot of different birds and stuff. But it was definitely worth going to. Had to take an Uber. It took a little while to get there, but that was fun.
Our driver he was awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely worth going to.
And I think I told Emily wrong. She's already left the chat, but it was $56 a person to get in. It was $39 for kids, but $56 for adults to get in. And then if you wanted to hold a koala, that was another fee for that. But I did get me a little koala pen. I just have to find it because, when I packed, I just threw everything in a bag. So it was like a little hat pin. So seems like they had some stuff you could buy to feed was it kangaroos?
Yeah.
But I went around and I didn't see it. So, I mean, there were people and there was one for the most part, the kangaroos that we pet, they were pretty much fine with it. There was one laying over by a building and I reached down to pet it and it just kind of looked at me like, you sure you want to do that? And I was like, yeah, okay, bye. And I walked off. But the rest of them, it was really cool. So bucket list, I got to see the kangaroos, got to see the koalas. I didn't get to hold a koala, but I got to see it. Took lots of video of pictures of that. So if you haven't seen those yet, one of these days I'll get those up too. And then she's going to break a leg.
Yeah, she is. I'm going to take her outside because she's not going to stop.
Then the eagles. Oh, man, the eagles. I absolutely love the eagles. And the starfish. They're apparently in Ketchikan. If you port there, some people said there were some giant starfish right off the gangway, the little ramp that goes from the gangway or from the where the boat docked to the I was going to say the mainland to the island itself. There's a little waterway it runs through there, and they said there was some giant starfish. So of course when I got off the the bus. I'm over there looking for them, and I go, I can't find you. It's time for me to be back on the ship, but I really want to see these giant starfish. But we did see some the next day in Ketchikan. So that was Juneau, I think it was, because Tony was not with me on that one. Jen, I don't think you were in here, if you're still in with us. Tony had talked about losing some video. I can't remember if you were on at that point or not, but there was he's lost some video. We're trying to figure out how to recover it on his phone and the gimbal and all that. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, I'm sure Uncle Tony would love to visit with you on that. Yeah, and it was a lot of it was he did the seaplane in Juneau, and that was some of the stuff that he lost. So, and it was showing that it was there when it downloaded. It wasn't there, or it wasn't the right format or something. I think that was in between your visits with us when we were talking about it. Yeah. That would be an Andrew question. Okay.
Okay.
Well, when he has a minute, we're home all day tomorrow. Or whenever Tony's home in the evenings.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was sad. Starfish? Wasn't it starfish? It was starfish, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, they were on the pole and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can send you a picture of that if I can find it.
Yeah.
I got all kinds of pictures. But yeah, they said there was a giant one and I missed it. I've taken a lot of pictures since I've been back, apparently. And these were the one I'll send you is in Ketchikan. Here they are. It was kind of creepy looking at them now. But cruise buddies. How did that pop up? Because I haven't sent anything to that in a while. But yeah, they were apparently ginormous, and I missed them. Yeah, that was in Juneau. So when you land there, be sure and look for them. Jellyfish in the place. Mm-hmm. And Emily talked about those. Well, Jessica and Emily both talked about those. Jessica had some really cool pictures and stuff of sea life. She's a scuba diver as well. So she was a biologist. And yeah, there's actually two of them in that picture, Jen. They're kind of on top of each other. But she had shark and whale and they pretty much kind of covered the same thing, but Emily's also covered bear and didn't really talk much about eagles, but she said they were very populous there, but talked about bear. There's 3 different kinds of bear up there. Brown bear, the polar bear, and what was the other one? Black bear? Mm-hmm. Black bear. Yeah. Talking about the difference between them and where you'd find them and everything.
Yeah. Well, the biologist was a lot about the whale sharks, and talked about seahorses, the pygmy seahorses.
Those are so cute. Yeah.
I'll have to try to get that incorporated into some video, because those are some pretty cool pics.
I forget what else. I mean, there was a lot. Could have been a lot more.
Yeah, because it was the lectures. It was like once they were done, unless you wanted to go to the casino.
Yeah. Now Emily did do the naturalist. She would do what she called a nature walk or something like that on, up on the top of the ship, deck 10 or whatever, and they'd go out
at 8:00 in the morning.
Yeah, every morning. So when you're 5 hours set back, I'll let you do the math on that. That was too dang early, and it was cold, and it was snowing. Girl was not going to go out on the deck and look for whales, but they'd go out there and watch for them. And we saw some spouts several times, but we saw dolphins, but we never saw a whale from the ship. Just the spouts.
Yeah.
Did we even? I don't think we even saw the dorsal fins or anything, did we? I mean, one guy swore he saw an orca, but we didn't. I mean, I can neither confirm nor deny because we didn't see it. But that would have been cool to see an orca, even on the whale watching trip. I don't know. I'll have to look and see what Sasha was.
Yeah, and Emily would also sometimes in the afternoon do a question and answer section.
Words are hard this time.
Question and answer deal, and where they were holding the trivia and stuff like that. She'd go out there. In fact, I videoed one of those, but the video, the lighting on it sucks real bad. So I don't know if I'm going to put it up or not because the video and I don't know why, because it's poor quality, but it was one of the questions and answer sections that she did. And she was up there too with at night with the aurora board when they were looking for the lights, and she told us how to take pictures of it. Even though you couldn't see it, she told us how to change the settings on the iPhones. She didn't know about the Androids, but the iPhone, she told us how to change the setting to where you could maximize the exposure. And if there was something there, you could catch it. And there were some people that managed to catch some pretty good pictures.
It was just too cold for me to be out there.
And I think we probably could have seen it if there hadn't been so much light pollution from the ship. But she even went and got, even though she went and got a bunch of towels and covered up a bunch of lights to make it darker, there was still, you can only do so much when the ship's lit up everywhere. And so the light pollution made it hard to see it. But if you had your camera and you were in the right spot at the right time, you got some pretty good pictures, even if you couldn't see it with the naked eye, the camera was able to get a good photo of it.
Nothing like what I'm seeing from last night.
No.
All the way down to, South Texas and Georgia and all that. But I think I might have gotten a little something, but it's not enough to really say that was the Northern Lights. So
Jennifer said they saw an orca in the breach and was looking for a female companion.
No,
that'd be cool. Maybe one day we'll see that. Something similar.
I probably just need to go plug in my phone and upload these photos. Do it in each one of the ports and say, this is here, this is there.
That would help.
Yeah.
Just don't delete them like I did, because I didn't realize I was going to have problems with the darn formatting.
Oh, you said it.
Well, that ticked me off. I just don't understand why this picture is the wrong format, but this picture is correct. The next 10 pictures are the correct format, and then all of a sudden the next 3 or 4, no, that's incompatible formatting. I didn't change any settings. I just hit the red button.
Daniel, that was his name. David, Donnie, Dirk. I don't know. It's Daniel. Sorry, I was looking through my pictures. It was the guy from Peru that told me how to set the camera. So I tried to make some notes before, I lost them all.
Yeah. Well, we've pretty much discussed everything. And we're going on about 2.5 hours.
What is that? We did go out.
Yeah.
He did say the other day, he was 300 hours from 3,000? Under
No.
3. That's what you said a while ago. I was making
at 26 or 2,600.
Yeah. Don't know which part of the future, but
yeah.
But yeah, I'll try to. Actually, I have that picture of Daniel. It has the name of the company I don't know if we can see it. Can't read it here. I got a couple of pictures. He was holding up some stuff that he said, when you see these laying down, be careful because bears like the roots. He says, so if you see these and they look kind of fresh and there's no roots attached, might be a bear around somewhere. So, I don't know. Gastineau guiding, maybe. I'll have to find his business card because it was much clearer than these pictures by the time I zoom in. But the nature walk was a bit much. At one point he's walking and he kind of stops and he goes, well, he did say that he would give his life to protect us if a bear were to come. He said, but we got to stay close together. He said, let me know if I'm walking too fast. Well, I'm a little slow, but there were some people that had assist, canes, or, we didn't have any with walkers or anything like that. But so I was kind of in the middle between the really fast ones and the slower ones. And I was like, you're walking too fast. And he looked surprised that I said that. And I wanted to go, well, look at the people back here behind me I can't keep up. They definitely can't keep up. I didn't say that, but so, he young and athletic and doing that all the time. And I'm not. And the people behind me were not.
Yeah, that's because he's used to doing it.
There is a sign that says this is a bear trail. Bears use our trails frequently to share the trail safely with them. 1, give bears space. Do not approach or run from them. If you run from them, you become fast food, by the way.
Yep.
Keep food in your pack, leash your dog, and tell a ranger if you see a bear. That makes me think of, Yogi Bear. I'm sorry, I had a little flashback there for a second. Trying to look through here. A bunch of pictures. I don't have a lot of. There were some little stone. I didn't tell you this. In 1936, that's where the edge of the ice was. And then it showed another stone, as we walked a little bit more, there'd be another stone and it would say in 1946, the ice was here, and it was showing how it had receded over the years and stuff.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So I have a couple of those throughout. Throughout the deal. So this was, I think, what you were flying over. That's the Tongass National Forest, and it was the whatever thingy-majiggy it was there.
One of the glaciers.
Yeah. And then there's a cool waterfall. And so the changing views, you can kind of see how it was here. And I'll post these on my Facebook. You can see there. And then it was just all kind of melted and run down. It's kind of sad to see that, it's doing all that. But I talked about the Sitka spruce, a spruce tree, which a lot of people use the spruce trees at Christmas. But the Sitka, there was 2 different kinds of spruce trees. And he talked about the difference in those. And then got a picture. I think that's, the seals were out. And so they were just, everywhere you look, the seals were just kind of laying. Whoa, what did I do there? So I have a few whale-tail pictures. I'll have to kind of crop them a little bit so we can see them better. But you have the glaciers and stuff in the background. It's just really cool. It was, no pun intended, but I really enjoyed Alaska.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Japan. It was all the sea days in between that killed me.
All right.
And if really, if they could do one that was started over there, went to Japan, all the 5 ports in Japan, came across, did Fiji, Tahiti, Hawaii, then to Seattle, I'd be in for that because it'd be a lot more port days. And my whole thing about cruising is you wake up, you go to bed and you wake up and you're in another port, another country or whatever. And, another area that you've not been to before. And when there's 7 and 8 sea days in a row, it's just kind of
rough.
Want to shoot yourself.
It's doable, but it's rough.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's been 2.5 hours. We've enjoyed it. We
sure have.
Talked a lot. We enjoyed the cruise. Mm-hmm. Glad to be back in our own bed.
Even though we were grumpy and it made it sound like we I mean, it was
It's hard on my old body.
said I wouldn't mind doing it again. Unfortunately, even if we got the offer and stuff like that, wouldn't be able to because I don't get to carry over the time that allows us to do it. Especially since now the return trips might be a different story because I can carry 70 hours over. And by the time they do the return trip, I might have enough built up to do that.
And those
But
are shorter somehow.
But yeah,
Not even just the.
but the initial trip from Brisbane, because they have it so close to the beginning of the year, there's no way for me to build up all that extra time. I mean, because I can only carry 70 hours over. So 70 hours plus a few built up over the first few months, just I have to work a lot of overtime the week before so I can carry it over. And then have to throw in some sick leave to cover the difference.
And were you able to? I know you were going to work Saturday or something like that, and then weren't able to.
No, I've used all but 15 hours of my leave.
No, I still have 7 weeks after they took everything, took all my comp time, and then annual for the rest of it. I still have 7 weeks. That's just of annual. Then I still have 200 something hours of sick leave. So, but I would never, hopefully, never use it all again. Get short like I used to.
They're making a lot of changes in the company that I work for, so maybe they'll take a look at the leave situation and let us carry some extra over. I can understand why they have a high turnover rate, so I can understand why they don't want people carrying a bunch of leave over, because then that means that's leave they got to pay them for. I mean, that's something that they got to pay them for if they when and if they quit / retire. I can kind of understand that, but at the same time, those that are working and need to build up extra leave so they can go and do stuff fun like this cruise, I mean, you're kind of limiting them on what they can do.
Yeah, and mine's at the point now after 22, almost 23 years that I can't use it fast enough. And that's okay because I get paid for it when I get ready to retire. Really quick, I said there was two websites you go to on the whale tails. So one of, I don't remember the other one, and I'll find it. But this one is junoflukes.org, JUNEAUF as in Frank, LUKES.org. And it's the whale tail. They look at the shape of the whale tail, kind of like fingerprints, everything they all is unique. And this catalog, Sasha's in it, and they show her, baby birth rates and stuff in there. So junoflukescatalog.org, and you can flip through there and look at some whale tail and all the different ones they've identified and the different types of whale and stuff. So that was really cool. I can't remember the other one. They talked about it a couple of times. I want to say like hippie whale or something, but that's not right, I'm sure.
Well, like she said earlier too, if you happen to take a picture of a whale tail, send it in, see if they can identify it, and if they can't, there's I thought the one excursion that we were on, they said if you take a picture of a whale tail and they can't, it's one they haven't seen before, you get to name it. So you could actually be the one that names a whale.
They did say it was mostly, boat captains and stuff that had been out that they hear from frequently. That was majority of the people. But I guess if you donate enough to the organization, then they'll let you do it.
Well, they didn't mention anything about that. They just said if it's not one that's been identified, then you get to name it.
So there's alaskahumpbacks.org. alaskasealife.org, Fluke book, FLUKE book, all one word, .org, Jupiter Foundation, whalesinmexico.com. That's cool. I wonder if Sasha's down there in that one too. I'm not seeing this one. So here's kind of the catalog. It has images, photos, and it that Juno Flukes. Is it Happy Whale? That was it.
Okay.
Happy Whale doesn't say if it's .org.com, but that might be Sasha's.
Do a search.
That might be Sasha's tail right there. Nope, I don't see the AK on it. But I mean, it's really cool. You can see the different kinds and look at that. So, what I say, Happy Whale? I was close. I forget what I said a while ago, but no, I said hippie.
Yeah.
Hippie is happy whale. So that's kind of cool. But I think we've covered everything a couple of times.
Yeah, since nobody's got any questions and stuff like that.
You bought some stuff. Don't look at me like that.
Lots of stuff.
Ramen,
yeah.
Yeah, he bought some ramen in Japan. And then one of the nights that
got tired of eating,
Lido was kind of, he was like, oh, I'm going to go. So he went back and got the bowl of ramen and sat there and ate that.
Yeah.
And
it was good.
The guy that was working in the dining room was kind of walked by and looked at him like, where'd you get that? But it was a bowl probably about yay big around and about yay deep.
No, it was probably about 4 inches deep.
That's 2.5, 3. My hand's not as big as yours. Yeah, that's it.
It was definitely filling, and it was definitely different. Tasted different noodles from what I get here. I mean, it was good.
The texture was, we brought one home that was soy sauce flavor.
Yeah, soy sauce flavor.
And I think Angela took it home with her. So,
because there was another night that I ate two of the small. We had real small cups of ramen that I wanted a midnight snack, so I just went up there and got the hot water and enjoyed.
So that was fun too.
Mm-hmm. I still didn't think we'd ever be on expect to be on a cruise and have it snow.
Even when we went to Alaska before, it didn't snow. Mm-hmm. And it didn't snow in Alaska this year. It was up there by the Bering Sea, which just terrified me. I watched too much Deadliest Catch. Sorry. And had we gone on the other side of the Aleutian Islands, it might have been like that, but the islands broke it up, and it was rough. I will say it was rough. Did you get a video of the pool? I don't think it was as bad as it was last year, but it was kind of rough.
Yeah, there were several times we woke up and we were flipping through the channel and they'd show the Lido deck and the pool was empty
because it was sloshing all over everything.
Which I thought was weird. They drained the pool, but they didn't drain the hot tubs.
And it does. I didn't notice last year. Well, it was because they didn't close them until after Hawaii. But it does. The Luminosa has a cover. They close the top of it, and you can still. People were in there swimming and everything. And I'm like, it is Alaska. Get out of that water. And it was I don't know about the pool, but the hot tub, was the pool heated? That one?
I don't know. But that is one thing that I did like. When we got to the point where it was freezing outside and they actually closed that, we were in the aft aft part of the ship, and we would come up to the Lido deck in the morning, and when those elevator doors open, you would just freeze your wazoo off because the two doors that they had leading outside were constantly being open and closed. And so all that wind was just coming in there. And I mean, you could not find a warm place on either side, but yet you could go out onto the Lido deck where they had that cover, and it was actually warmer out there than it was inside because
it was very comfortable in there.
Yeah. I mean, that was nice. Even you would think it wouldn't be because of all the glass and it's outside, but man, when they covered that thing, it was nice.
It was very cozy in there, and I guess that was the first time I've been on one where they actually closed the roof.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen one close, but it was cool.
Because last year it was after we got off the ship. So pretty cool.
Yep.
Ready to do it again. Just don't want so many sea days.
Yeah.
Sea days. I love sitting and watching, looking at the ocean, but at the same time, give me something to do.
Yep.
Some lectures to go to. And they had comedians that would start about 5 in the evening. And of course, dinner was 5:15, so we couldn't go to that. By the time we got out, it was in the smallest room on the ship. So they were packed. And they had the chairs so close together. I mean, your knees were against the back of the seat in front of you when you sat down, and you couldn't really see them or anything. Some of them were a little raunchy, but I mean,
Comedians.
You're comedians. And it was late night comedy.
It was adult.
And but just if they'd done them we could have done away with the magician and had them in there. That's one thing about the Luminosa. It is a very small ship. There is one stage area. It does have the balcony area. That's where Emily and Jessica did their lectures. But they were in the morning, and then in the evening, I guess they had some
music shows.
Yeah, musicals and things like that. We don't do musicals, so we didn't go to those. There was a magician, a hypnotist. They were in there, but the comedians were in the small room, and it was just like it was just not big enough, and that was the only places they had on the ship. Everywhere else you went, they were either piping in music on Lido, or there was 2 people playing violin, and there was some in the main atrium that were singing, and they had the piano bar, and it was just like you couldn't go anywhere except your cabin and have peace and quiet. And then I forget her name, but if we go to the coffee shop, and this girl, I mean, she was 5 foot nothing, maybe 85 pounds, but my God, she had some pipes on her and beautiful singing. But we were sitting there trying to work our puzzles, and she was so loud, and she'd laugh, and then she'd start singing again, and she just thoroughly enjoyed her job and had a great time. And they did have a
talent contest.
Yes,
not a contest, but like a talent show for
the crew members. And it turned out only 3 people showed up. One of them was too nervous, and they wouldn't come and do it. But she performed at that, and she got a standing ovation on both of her songs. She did one, and she was going to leave, and everybody, they were like, oh, Tyler came out, the cruise director came out, and was like, oh, you need to do another one. And there was a little man, I don't remember where he was from, and man, his singing was amazing. And he was like, it's funny because he had kind of had trouble. Oh well, not trouble. He very could definitely tell English was not his first language. I'm not sure how to say it without sounding bad, but when he was singing, you couldn't tell. Wow. It was really good. And I think he said one of the songs was In Sync. And he was like, this is my favorite insert boy band, whoever it was, song. And he sang 2 or 3. And I was like, okay, how many are you going to do here? How many people is there going to be? And then she came out. Well, he got a standing ovation when it was done. And then she got 2 standing ovations. And wow. And I asked her, I said, why are you not in entertainment? And she said, well, I'm trying to finish a project. And then I was like, oh, okay. She didn't really elaborate, and I didn't ask. But she was really good. It was hard to work our puzzles, though, because she was so loud.
Yeah. Well, there was like 2. It was at the coffee bar, or at the Blue Iguana, whatever they call it. The
Java Blue.
Yeah.
The other iguana.
But there'd be like 3 of them behind the counter, and they'd all get to giggling and laughing and yelling at each other. And I mean, they were being playful and happy and stuff like that. But when you're sitting there trying to work a puzzle.
And it was Sudoku. It was so hard puzzles.
It just kind of got irritating. But so we just go up to the cabin and finish them there. I mean,
It was fun though to see them enjoy their job.
Yeah, definitely.
And then our assistant waiter, maybe his name was Jonas, kind of like the Jonas Brothers. That's how I remembered him. And then Melanie was our head waitress, and they were very nice.
Yep.
And I could not for the life of me tell you what the other guy's name was. Took a picture. He was like he was leaning over pouring my water, and I took a picture. So it was a very close up of him.
Yeah, we didn't see him very much. It seemed like he got pulled quite a bit to go work somewhere else. We'd no sooner get sit down and he'd give us, we called him the bread guy because he was the one that would give us the bread.
Sometimes coffee, but
sometimes
mostly
coffee.
the bread.
And it would be like he'd no sooner give us the bread, and you might see him for about another 10 seconds, and then boom, we wouldn't see him again the rest of the night because he got pulled to go help somewhere else.
Generally, it was down on Lido. He got sent down there.
Yeah.
I guess they were that shorthanded. But they were all very nice. It's just amazing to me that they all, even day 2, they were calling you by name. I get it, 30 days, you've been around these people, but I say that and I can't tell you what his name was.
Oh, and if Carnival's listening, when it comes to, the movie schedule.
Oh, the freaking music.
Okay, I understand that you're having a movie schedule, but when you're on day 10, I don't need to know what you're showing on day 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Or 6 or 7 or 8. We were anytime we'd go to that channel to see what that was going on. Here, this is your movie. This is the movie schedule for day 1. Okay, we're on day 15. Well, you have to watch the movie schedule for day 1, 2, 3, 4 before you get to the day that you're on.
Imagine being on day 26 and they went through the entire month.
Yeah. Remove the older days. That way you don't have to, because I don't care what I'm going to be watching on day 1 when it's day 15.
Delete.
Just a suggestion.
That might be one of those wiring things, and they didn't know how to do it. I mean, they set it up to show.
Yeah.
And you don't need 8 channels talking about Carnival either. I mean, I get it, but by day 3, if you haven't watched Shaq and his information, you're not going to watch it. Take it off, put something else on there.
And that's where the Emily shows could be put, and Jessica's, and maybe even the Magician or the whatever. I mean, just a suggestion, not a complaint. Just
okay. I am going to complain though, because that hideous music. You fall asleep, and then the thing comes on to tell you the whole month worth of movies, and oh my God, that music. Please.
It's horrible.
Turn it down. Oh, and every time we turned on our TV, it would come on at volume 19. I'm not kidding. It would say you'd start hitting the down button. It would be 18, 17. 16. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I know this is an older crowd, but not everybody's deaf. And
well,
not everybody who's old is deaf. Not everybody who's on the ship is. Turn it down.
I mean, you may have your partner or whatever that gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning, can't sleep or whatever, and they decide to watch TV, get until they can go to sleep, and they turn it on, and it comes on blaring at 4 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock.
At freaking 19. Oh, we listened to it at 9 and 10 here.
Yeah.
And this was 19.
Just some tidbits of helpful hints of let's
fix some things.
Yeah.
And please take off that god-awful music. I don't care what volume. It's horrible.
They do that on purpose, so you'll shut the TV off if you're not going to watch something.
I was watching it. They took it off. It ended. But yeah. So, Jessie, Jessi, the biologist on Instagram. Emily, the naturalist on Instagram and Facebook.
Sydney cartoonist.
Sydney cartoonist. And then junoflokes.org. So I think that was the main things that we really enjoyed those. If you want to see some really awesome cherry blossoms, go look at Jessie's page.
Yeah.
give her a follow and like. Emily, give her a follow and a like. And if you haven't got a follow and a like on Travel and Chat, we'd appreciate that too.
Sure would.
He would on his page.
Well, I think that's pretty much it for the night. We will.
If we go 6 more minutes, you'll have gone 3 hours.
Okay.
So a fluke and a whale tail is the same thing. See it right here. I don't know what else to talk about. We've talked about everything at least twice.
Yeah.
Turn down the music. Oh yeah, we covered that.
They have improved, which that's.
They still had a Vegemite.
Yeah.
Still had Vegemite on there.
I did try it. It really wasn't that bad. I mean,
this time
it was. The last time, the reason it was so bad is because we didn't know what to expect. I thought it was a spread, so I figured, okay, well, I'll get some, and I got some
like peanut butter.
Yep. And then bit into it and was just like, I'm not going to say what I was thinking, but once we talked to some people, and they said, no, you have to put it on really thin and then put butter on it. Butter over it, and it wasn't. I mean, if you put it on real thin and then put some butter on it, it wasn't bad. I mean,
Here's a video of him
trying it. Well, you're in it too.
You did cream cheese and you did
butter, and I don't know if. I mean, I put it on thin, but I didn't put the butter and the cream cheese on thin, so I don't know if maybe the butter drowned out the taste or the cream cheese. But I mean, either way, it wasn't bad.
Oh, let's hit on the drinks too. Pepsi Zero.
It's good.
Is that what you drank?
Yeah.
And then Sprite. I bought, you can take a 12-pack on, right? So I bought, was it a 12-pack? Or I think it was a 12-pack in Australia and took it on the ship. And I drank that first one. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to drink this. It was really, really sweet. I guess because they use cane sugar there instead of that artificial sweeteners and sugar and stuff that we use here. So they were really sweet. And I honestly didn't think in the 31 days, I was going to be able to drink a 12-pack. And I can drink some Sprite. But that was so sweet. And then last year we went to KFC and he got a Pepsi Zero. And he was like, man, this is good.
It was. I mean, for being no sugar or whatever. And after getting used to drinking that, I mean, it was good. I don't know what they do there in Australia, but as far as no sugar drinks, but the sodas that I drank there were really good. I got used to those. I came back and had my first Diet Pepsi. And it was almost a sickening sweet that there was that much difference. I mean, the ones over in Australia were still good. I'm not going to, I'm not trying to say that there was a different taste to them, but it was a good taste. But I got used to them and started drinking when we came back here and I started drinking them. I mean, it was just like, these are just really sweet. Even though they're diet, they're really sweet.
There was something else I wanted to touch on. I thought about while you were talking. I can't remember now.
Oh, wow. Time's up. Almost.
Oh, come on, old brain.
What did it have to do with?
I couldn't even tell you.
Well, we did try some different alcoholic drinks.
Oh yeah.
I tried the Blue Long Island, which is pretty strong. I had one of the waiters. He was like, "Hey, what do you want?" Well, he didn't say it that way, but I told him the Blue Hawaiian, and Blue Long Island. And he was like, "Oh," he goes, "You like the strong drinks?" And 2 was about all I could take.
Again, it was my fault because they walked by at one point and it was a little skinny glass, tall, skinny like this. And it was blue. And I like the Blue Hawaiian as my go-to drink, or was. And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Blue Long Island." I was like, "Oh, okay." He goes, "You want one?" Sure.
It was good. It's got like 4 or 5 different liquors in it.
I had 2, and I think I was drunk after 2.
She was. She was.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was feeling pretty good, so I know she was drunk.
Yeah. So those are really good if you need if you got free alcohol or free drinks in the casino and you want to sleep good that night and you want to, don't want to spend half the night trying to get, and that's the one thing I hear people fussing about when they have the drink package, that they think that they don't put the alcohol in the drinks. Believe me, they were all in that.
Yeah, we were getting them. Well, I don't know if we paid for any, but because we were getting them all in the casino.
Yeah, no,
and they were strong.
Oh yeah, you paid for those 2 shots.
The yeah, I won't do that again.
First time we did them, they were what, $5 or $6 a piece.
Yeah, yeah, and in the main dining room where they bring around a little different shot glasses. Shot glasses. They were like $5 or $6 or $7, $8, something like that. Anyway, they weren't bad. I thought they were a little expensive then, but I mean,
for just a shot, it was a bit much.
Yeah. Well, come to find out, they're like 17. Was it 17?
12.
12.
It was almost $13 for a shot glass of something.
Yeah, so I won't be doing that again.
Yeah, you got 2 of them, and the second night it was like, what is this charge? And we found out that's what it was. So that's done.
Like, nope,
we go back to the casino and get them for free. Get them for $2 because that's what we generally tipped the peoples. But no, they did not hold back, because I drank quite a few Fireball with Sprite. And the first time they were like, "So you want a shot of Fireball and a Sprite, or like a can of Sprite?" And I was like, "No, Fireball and Sprite." It's kind of like a rum and Coke, but Fireball and Sprite. And they're like, "Oh, okay." So it's like second or third night, we'd have different waiters or something. Second or third night, say Fireball and Sprite. And they're like, "Okay, cool, got it." And it was like, "Want another Fireball?" Yeah. And it was, you could definitely taste the Fireball. It was not like, all Sprite, here's a little cinnamony taste. But it was like Fireball with a little bit of Sprite. So they were very good drinks.
Yeah.
I don't know that I tried anything else. No, you tried that one, lemon martini or something.
Some sort of lemon drop martini.
Yeah.
It was all right.
I didn't like it at all.
I mean, nothing right home about.
But. I mean, and that's the cool thing about having drinks in the casinos. You can try all the stuff, and if you like it, great. And if you don't, get something else.
Yeah, if you don't like it, you're not out any money except whatever you tip the waiter.
Get a Blue Long Island, and you won't care about the lemon drop.
All right. Well, it's been a little over 3. Well, if we go 28 more minutes.
28 more minutes.
No.
Okay. Yeah, we're both starting to get kind of.
Yeah. So, well, we appreciate everybody coming in and being with us here on our Saturday Night Live.
Happy Mother's Day. It's 12:03.
Happy Mother's Day to everybody.
So.
Everybody that's a mother out there.
Mother or a mom.
I mean, I used to work in a prison. I was called a mother a few times, but.
Yeah, I haven't been called names like that in a long time.
Yeah.
It's kind of good. I've answered to it all, but.
So we are going to go ahead and end this session. And we appreciate everybody coming in. Again, happy Mother's Day to those of you.
Thanks for joining us. Hit the like button.
Hit the like button. And watch for some good videos. I've got some that are coming out that.
It's time for bed. The computer just told us it was bedtime.
The computer said bedtime.
And if you saw the preview of the one, if you liked it, let us know. And if you don't want to see the rest of it, let us know. We'll tell you when it's coming out, so you won't watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna once I get it set up. I'm trying to do this one tastefully and trying to make sure it's done right. I want to make sure I'm just not throwing something together and putting it out there because, you know, it does mean a lot to, you know, it could mean some different things to different people. So I want to make sure I'm not
Be very emotional to possibly for
trying to
some.
be
cold
hearted or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be out soon.
If you haven't seen the fish, be sure and watch the fish.
Well, on that note, we will end the session. And again, thank you, everybody. Have a good evening and have a great weekend. Good night from Traveling Chuck and Lady CZ.
Bye.
Bye-bye.